Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this platform, the callers plus invited guests, are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with this brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio.
Fringe check, download today. Fringes is a new mobile app designed to meet, mix, and post with Torah keepers like you. That's right. How pleasant is it for brethren to dwell together in unity? Bring it out. Fringes is available on Google Play and the App Store.
Shalom, and I'm glad to be here with you guys. Tonight's topic is in regard to the Melchizedek Priesthood superseding the Levitical Priesthood. And I want to start in the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verses 5 and 6. And it says, every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not into his word, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. The first place I'm going to start in regard to the debate tonight and to the topic is in the letter of condemnation, or the letter of Hebrews. And for time's sake, I don't have time to read a ton of verses, but I'm going to read some key verses to you in this particular chapter, or this particular book or letter, to show you how the writer of the letter of Hebrews has added to the Creator's word. This doctrine of Melchizedek replacing the Levitical priesthood, you cannot find that nowhere in the Gospels. You don't even truly find it in the epistles of Paul. Now, we know that they say that the writer of this particular letter is unknown, but most scholars agree and believe that it was Timothy. So we're going to begin, I'm going to show you the error and the folly and how they've added to the Creator's word, and they're going to be found to be a liar. No, the Levitical priesthood cannot be over superseded. It cannot be replaced by the tribe of Judah. There is no Melchizedek order that replaces the priesthood. The Levitical priesthood is eternal. But let's start here in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 10. Actually, I'll start at verse 9. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Called of God and high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Now, further up in Hebrews 5 and 6, it says, as he saith also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Now, if you look at Psalms 110 and 4, and let's turn there. And let's actually look at what the Creator said. And did he even use this title called and high priest? We're going to show you right out of the gate how the letter of Hebrews is deceiving you. It's lying to you. It's adding to the word. It's saying things presumptuously and deliberately to mislead you. See, this is what happens to our people when they've been raised from the back of the book. And then when you go into the law and the prophets, you begin to see the Christ of the New Testament and everything. But we're going to look at this. Psalms 110 and 4, and it says, the Lord has sworn and will not relent. You are a priest forever, a rightful king by my decree. So if you look at the language, the title of Kohen is in there. But what it's missing is the word Godal. That word is not there. The title, Kohen HaGadol, is not in Psalms 110, verse 4. So nowhere did the Creator call the order of Melchizedek a high priest. Now, looking at the word Kohen, let's look at this and get some understanding. Because the thing about it is this. Just because you see the word Kohen does not mean that we're talking about a Levitical or a high priest. Kohen, age 35-48. And it means an acting priest, a chief ruler, a priest, a prince, or principal officer. But nowhere in there does it say a Levitical high priest. If you want to see what a Levitical high priest is according to Scripture, turn to Leviticus 21:10. So we can show you, I can show you, according to the word of Yah, what is the truth. Now, it says, the priest who was exalted above his fellows, on whose head the anointing oil has been poured, and who has been ordained to wear the vestments, and should not bare his head, nor rend his vestments. So right here you see this word exalted. If you look in the language, you would actually see the word Kohen HaGodal. I know in the King James Version they actually have the word high priest. So right off of the bat, Hebrews 5 is adding to the Creator's word. It's taking away glory from the Creator's word. Now, let's quickly look at Hebrews 7, Hebrews 7, and let's look at verse 20 and 21. And it says, inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Lord sware and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Again, we have the letter of Hebrews caught in a lie. It says that the Creator never made an oath with the tribe of Levi. That was the only that was the only priesthood that had access to the Creator. If you look at the various chapters, Leviticus 16, it says this is a perpetual covenant. And I want to go into Exodus chapter 29 just to show you that the Creator made a covenant. He made an oath. He swore. He gave this to Aaron for a perpetual statute. And according to the book of Psalms, chapter 119, it says that the word of the Creator is settled forever. There is no change in the Creator's word. There is no change in the Creator's mind. Let's read this. Exodus chapter 29. And thou shalt gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the bonnets on them, and the priest's office shall be theirs for a perpetual statute. And thou shalt consecrate Aaron and his sons. So right off of the bat, if you look at the word perpetual statute, perpetual is olam. It's everlasting. It's to stand. And that word statute, hukah, this is a verdict. This is a judgment. This is what the Creator has said is eternal. You cannot add to this. And we saw in Hebrews 5 and 10 how the writer of Hebrews deliberately added and called David a high priest and said that the order of Melchizedek gives them the ability to be a high priest. And this is a complete lie. This is a deliberate, deceitful act by the writer of the letter of Hebrews to deceive you. Let me show you another place where the Creator made an eternal covenant with Aaron. Leviticus 16, chapter 34. Leviticus 16, verse 34. And it says, and this shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year, as he did, and he did as the Lord commanded Moses. So the priests, they are the sons of Aaron. These are the gentlemen, these are the sons, this is the family that have the ability to make an atonement for you. The Melchizedek order was never called to make an atonement. In fact, if you look in Scripture, and I dare anybody to show me where the Creator spoke to the person of Melchizedek in Genesis 14 and made any covenant with him. And before we go further, let's deal with this word Melchizedek, or Melchizedek. Actually, it's two different words. The first word is Melech, which means king. The second word, Zedek or Zadok, means righteousness. So in regards to the language, what you're saying is a king who acts in righteousness. But this king, lo and behold, has to learn from the priest. Let's go to Deuteronomy 17, verses 18 and 20. And it says, and it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, and to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. So the king himself had to learn from the Levites. They were the ones who educated him in righteousness. They were the ones who showed him what was right and wrong. Now, before my time runs out, I want to show you what King David said in regards to a king of righteousness. We're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 23, and we're going to start right at verse 3. Give me 1 second. 2 Samuel 23, verse 3. Give me 1 second here. Almost there. And it reads, the God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me, he that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God. So that word just right there is Sadak. And that word ruling is Mashel, which talks about a king's reign. The only way that a king can reign is in the righteousness of the law. The kings never sought out to replace the Levites. They always gave honor to the Levites. The Levites have an eternal covenant according to Jeremiah chapter 33, verses 15 through 21. The Creator used the sun and the moon as a witness to show that you cannot do away with the priesthood of Levi. The Melchizedek Priesthood is a line that is a promise that belongs to the sons of David in regards to a king. A king cannot be a high priest, nor can a high priest be a king. This is Hellenism that you're seeing in the letter of Hebrews, where they want to do away with the nation's priesthood and make the king high priest and king. That's my time for right now, and I yield.
And just getting started out, wow, Kolayah has made a lot of mistakes. I didn't think he was going to make this many mistakes in his opening statement, but he did. But I find it interesting that even though this debate is titled, does the Melchizedek priesthood supersede the Levitical priesthood, he didn't even start where Melchizedek is first mentioned in the Bible. In fact, if you go back and listen to his opening statement, he's trying to create the illusion that Melchizedek didn't even have a priesthood. And you just simply can't make that claim if you're reading scripture. So what we're going to do is go to Genesis 14. We're going to read verses 18 to 20. Look what it says. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, which is an ancient name for Jerusalem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. If he's the priest of the Most High God, and he existed before Levi and Aaron, then he did have access to God, which I all heard Kolayah say, unless I'm mistaken. Aaron was the only person that had access to God. But it says he was priest of the Most High God. This was an actual individual. Why did Kolayah start here? Why has he started out in the New Testament trying to help you understand a figure that's mentioned in the very first book of the Bible? Think about this, sisters and brothers. Pay attention to what he's doing. Then it says in verse 19, and he, Melchizedek, blessed him. Okay.
You can hear me now? Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, continue. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. He says, and he, Melchizedek, blessed him, Abram, or Abraham, and said, blessed be Abram of or by the Most High God. Who is this priest that it says is of the Most High God in the Tanakh that has the authority to bless Abraham if this guy did not have a legitimate priesthood? And then look what it says. Possessor of heaven and earth, verse 20. And blessed be the Most High God. So now Melchizedek is saying, blessed be the Most High God. So now he's saying the Most High God is blessed. See, there's a reason why Kolayah didn't start here, because he's trying to establish the false perspective that this wasn't an actual priest, but an actual priesthood. That's why he said, there's no Melchizedek or order of Melchizedek priesthood. Y'all all heard him say it. He even said, oh, how.
All right, let me pause the time. We lost Josh just now. Let me pause the time. Yeah, we just lost Josh. Once Josh comes back in, we can start it off again. I don't know, maybe it's Blog Talk Radio, fam. All right, that number to call in is 319-527-6239. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to press number 1, y'all. Feel free to press number 1. Let me just do a radio check once again and see if I'm loud and clear. All right. Kolayah, can you hear me loud and clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Just making sure my mic is good. All right. Stand by. All right. I believe Josh is back. All right. You can continue.
Yep. Sorry about that. Y'all don't know what's going on tonight, right? But it says, verse 20, and blessed be the Most High God. Now, Melchizedek is saying the Most High God is blessed, which have delivered thine enemies into thy hand. Talking to Abraham. And he, Abraham, gave him, Melchizedek, tithe or 10% of all, of the spoil. So now we have Abraham tithing to Melchizedek. Abraham being blessed by Melchizedek, and Melchizedek being called the priest of the Most High God. This is Tanakh. This was an individual. He was a priest. Then Kolayah said, well, it doesn't say high priest. He was the only priest at this time under this order. So if I'm the only priest, that makes me the highest. That's why it says high priest. And I'm going to show you in history that other non-Christian sources understood him to be a high priest. Ancient Hebrew Israelite sources understood that. And I'm going to show you how they also view Melchizedek. But now we're going to go to Psalm 110. See, you got to start at the beginning, sister, brother. You can't start in the New Testament to try to understand the Melchizedek priesthood. So this is Psalm 110. We're going to read verse 1. Look what it says. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Now, we're not here to argue about the identity of the person sitting at the right hand of the Lord. That's not what we're here to do. I just took you here first to show you that when you are at the right hand of somebody, that means you are the number one person. In this context, in this situation, you are the closest to God. Look what it says right here about this person sitting next to him. He said, the Lord said to my Lord, sit thou at my right hand. So whoever this Lord is, or who you believe it to be, he's sitting at the right hand of God, whether figuratively or in a metaphorical sense, meaning that this is God's top job. Nobody is closer to God than him. Again, it don't matter who you think it is, but you can't deny that fact, and I'm going to show you how they understood the concept of being at the right hand of God. This is Psalm 80. We're going to read verses 14 to 18. We're talking about Israel, particularly Ephraim. Look what it says. Return, we beseech thee, O God of hosts. Look down from heaven, and behold, and visit this Zion, that's Israel, and the vineyard which thy right hand hath planted, and the branch that thou madest sown for thyself. 16. It is burnt with fire. It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of thy covenant. Somehow Israel being punished for their sins by the nations. Verse 17. Let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand. This refers to Israel as the man of God's right hand. I'm pretty sure no Hebrew Israelite, so not only are Messianic, would argue that Israel was God's chosen people, chosen nation, and therefore the closest to him. So when you see stuff like this in the Bible and it says he's at the right hand of God, that means he's the number one guy. Nobody is higher than him. Psalms 110 and 80. Then it says right here, it says, let thy right hand be upon the man of thy right hand, upon the son of man, whom thou madest strong for thyself. 18. So will not we go back from thee. quicken us, and we will call upon thy name, just verifying that this is Israel, right? But they are called the man of God's right hand, or God's right-hand man, meaning no nation is closer to God than Israel. So whoever that guy is in Psalm 110, he has a higher rank than anybody. So if he has a priesthood, it automatically goes above Aaron, unless Kolayah can show y'all tonight that Aaron was called at the right hand of God, and it said he sit at the right hand of God. That's checkmate right there. He can't show you that. But now I'm going to prove this again. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 2. You can't just read over little stuff like this and then start tap dancing in the book of Hebrews. You cannot do that. You got to break this stuff down. What does it mean to be at the right hand of God? What's the significance of that? See, he doesn't do any of that. He just read and jump, read and jump. He didn't even want to take you and show you Melchizedek when he first mentioned in the Bible. Who does that? When the man's name is in the title. He goes to Hebrews. You know how many years that was after Melchizedek? You know what I'm saying? He's talking like 2,000, roughly 2,000 years. This dude skipped 2,000 years of scripture and history and started there. But this is 1 Kings chapter 2 and 19. And this is the kind of teachers you get usually from up to not only 5. 1 Kings 2 and 19. This is Solomon dealing with Bathsheba. Look what it says. Bathsheba therefore went unto King Solomon to speak unto him for Adonijah, and the king rose up to meet her, and bowed himself unto her, and sat down on his throne, and caused a seat to be set for the king's mother, and she sat on his right hand. Again, showing that is a high position of honor. When somebody is at your right hand, from the Hebrew perspective, that means they are the highest position. Nothing is higher than them. Now let's go back to Psalm 110, and let's see where Melchizedek, this guy who was at the order of Melchizedek, let's see what he was. We're going to pick it up at verse 4. The Lord hath sworn, talking to the guy sitting at his right hand, and will not repent. It's funny how Kolayah pointed out that God don't change. Well, he's saying right here that he's not changing about what he's about to say here. And will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. If y'all notice, he's reading from a translation that translates the name out of the text and instead replaces it with the definition of Melchizedek. This is deceitful because the same Hebrew word, Strong's 44:42, translates this word, Melchizedek, in Genesis 14, but translates the definition of it in Psalm 110 and 4. Why? Because the people that book he's reading from, whatever translation that is, they don't want you to see Melchizedek priesthood. So they translated the name out of it. That's what they did. And that's the book he's reading from. He's about the book of Hebrews trying to deceive you now. That translation he's reading. Because if you leave the name in, you can clearly see that the person at the right hand of God is after the order of Melchizedek, and he has the highest position. Then it says, verse 5, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike these kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathens, meaning nations. Meaning he's going to rule the world. Right? But he's also a priest. That means he's going to be a king too. He shall fill the places with dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. Sisters and brothers, whoever this guy sitting at the right hand of God is, he has the highest position, and he has a priesthood after the order of Melchizedek, which means his priesthood is higher than Aaron. That's why you have to understand what it means to stay at the right hand of God, and Aaron's priesthood was well into effect at this time. So when he said this, he pretty much slapped Aaron in the face and his priesthood. But metaphorically speaking, not disrespectfully. But that's all for now. We just feel warmed up, sisters and brothers. I'll be back. Take it away, Sal.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
All right, family. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Blog Talk Radio. I don't know. Sometimes it acts up, but hopefully everything stays the same right about now. Does the Melchizedek Priesthood supersede the Levitical Priesthood? Is the name of this debate. Again, we appreciate your family. The number is 319-527-6239. That's 319-527-6239. We're going into the first rebuttal part of this debate. That's going to be 10 minutes each. Let's go back to Kolayah. Go ahead, brother.
Well, my brother says like as I'm talking in an illusion and I'm trying to deceive you. Well, I want to stay in the letter of Hebrews because I'm not creating this doctrine of a king that's from the line of David because the Melchizedek order, the righteous kings, that covenant was given to David. There's no getting around that. And I want to show you that according to Hebrews 7, there is nothing written in the law concerning the priesthood of Judah. Let's read this. Hebrews 7. I'll start at verse 11 and I'll read through 14. Just so I can show you how the letter of Hebrews contradicts the law. Hebrews 7 and 11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law. What further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aaron? For the priesthood being changed. Now let's deal with that for a brief second. The Creator made a covenant of salt according to Numbers 18 and 19 with the house of Aaron. Let me read that for you. Because tonight's debate is not about who's sitting at the right hand and who's the top dog. Debate is in regards to, can the Melchizedek priesthood replace or take over or supersede the Levitical priesthood? Let me show you something to show you how this letter of Hebrews, contradicts the law. Numbers 18 and 19. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer unto the Lord have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee by statute forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord unto thee, and to thy seed with thee. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in the land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. So, right there, the Creator makes a covenant of salt, just like he made a covenant of salt with the sons of David in 2 Chronicles 13 and 5. You can turn there on your own time. If the Creator is not going to break his covenant with David in regards to them being the kings of Israel forever from his seed, why would he break his covenant with Aaron and the tribe of Levi? This is a lie. This is deceit. Let me show you the rest of Hebrews 7, picking up at verse 12. For the priesthood being changed, which we already know that's a lie, there is made of a necessity a change also of the law. Remember, Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 2 says thou shalt not add or take away from the law. You can't show me where the Creator changed the priesthood. You can't show me even where the Christ of the New Testament even tried to change the priesthood, because he sent people to the priest. He never operated as a Melchizedek priesthood. Verse 12 of Hebrews 7. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of a necessity a change also of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe. And this Christ of the New Testament, whom Hebrews 7 is talk about, claims that Christ comes from the tribe of Judah, but he was born of a virgin, so I don't know how that works. For he of whom pertaineth these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. That's the end of the story. You cannot sit up here and say with a straight face that the Melchizedek order, and that order is just a manner or way that a king shall rule in righteousness, replaces or supersedes the Levitical priesthood. There's nothing in the law giving Judah permission to do anything at the altar. And your own book confesses his own transgression against you for those of you who want to believe the letter of condemnation called Hebrews. Let me show you what happens when a king steps out of line and tries to do things that's only pertaining to the tribe of Levi. Let's go to 2 Chronicles. Let's look at the king Uzziah to show you what happens and what the Creator said was wrong. Let's see here. Let's pick up at verse 16 of 2 Chronicles 26. But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction. For he transgressed against the Lord his God and went into the temple of the Lord to burn incense upon the altar of incense. Only the sons of Aaron could operate in the temple, could operate at that portion of it. None of the other Levitical families could do that, let alone a king from the tribe of Judah. And Azariah, the priest, went in after him, and with him 80 priests of the Lord that were valiant men. And they withstood Uzziah the king, and said unto him, It appertaineth not unto thee, Uzziah, to burn incense unto the Lord, but the priests, the sons of Aaron, that are consecrated to burn incense. Go out of the sanctuary, for thou hast trespassed. Neither shall it be for thine honor from the Lord God. Then Uzziah was wroth. He had a censer in his hand to burn incense, and while he was wroth with the priest, the leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priest from the house of the Lord, from beside the incense altar. So right there, according to Hebrews 7:14, there's nothing in the law concerning the sons of David doing anything at the altar. We saw what a king of righteousness, what a king who was also from that Melchizedek order, because according to 2 Samuel 7, there was an eternal covenant made with David and his sons that ruled righteously. And in this instance, the king, the Melech, who's supposed to enforce Zadok, righteousness, transgressed. He went and tried to burn incense at the altar. Now, if the Creator knew that this Melchizedek order was coming and that the Christ of the New Testament was going to come and give us another priesthood, why did Uzziah become leprous? Why did the priest say he's trespassed? See, this is the lies that our people are faced with. And then you got somebody sitting up here not even talking about the subject. We're talking about the Melchizedek priesthood replacing Levi, and he's talking about the right hand of the Creator. Now let's go down to Hebrews 7, verses 19 through 21. It says, For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto God, inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath, by him that said unto him, The Lord swear, and will not repent, thou art a priest after the order of Melchizedek. Well, according to verse 21, it contradicts verses Hebrews 5 and 10. Hebrews 5 and 10 said it made him a high priest, but right here is still calling him a Kohen. And according to Jeremiah 33, the Creator made a covenant with two families, an eternal covenant. He said that David would never lack a man to sit on the throne, and that Levi would never lack a man to burn offerings at the altar. The Creator never spoke about any Melchizedek priesthood doing away with the Levitical priesthood. Israel is under the covenant. Let's put it like this. Israel is under the priesthood of Levi. Remember, Hosea says we will be without a priest, without a king, and without a sacrifice. There's nothing to identify us as a nation today. And the Christ of the New Testament does not speak and say anything about him being a high priest. You can't find it. The only place you can find this doctrine is in the letter of Hebrews. Thank you.
All right, family, you're listening to Debate Talk Radio. The number to call in, 319-527-6239. By the way, family, if you're on Facebook checking out the show, we have a new group, Debate Talk Radio. That's right, Debate Talk Radio on Facebook. Keep up with the show schedule. Check out the merchandise. All you got to do is type in the search box, one word, Mr. Sal Showtime. That's Mr. Sal Showtime. Join a group and keep up with the show schedule and join a family. All right, so let's go to Brother Josh with his first rebuttal, part of this debate. Let me open up his phone line and go ahead.
Thank you, Sal. And once again, Kolayah is doing what he does best. He's missing the point. All these examples of people he's showing you that got punished were punished because they were trying to operate like Levi. But nowhere in the Bible does it say that the Melchizedek priesthood operates or try to emulate Levi. If you notice, he's running from Genesis 14. He keeps trying to pretend like Melchizedek doesn't exist or didn't exist as a priest. That's why he keeps doing this. And he keeps bringing out examples of people trying to be like Levi, right? Another thing he keeps trying to do is translate that name out of Psalms 110. He keeps saying it just means you're a righteous king. No, that's what the name means, but that was an individual. You cannot do that, Kolayah. You can't take a man's name, take the definition of it, and then apply it to somebody else and say the man don't exist no more. That's what they're trying to do. Psalms 110 says he's a priest after the order of Melchizedek. That means in a similar way, arranged in the same style, and he's talking to the Lord at the right hand. This is a priest after the order. Aaron's priesthood had already been in existence for roughly 500 years. So if God comes along during the time of Psalms and tells somebody you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, if Aaron's priesthood exists, then how do we know which one is the highest? See, Kolayah is being deceitful because we know I don't teach that the Melchizedek priesthood did away with the Levitical priesthood. And Sal is a witness to that. We went through this. I teach that they coexist, but the Melchizedek priesthood supersedes it in the sense that it's higher. It holds more rank. So for him to get on here and make the argument that it did away with it, blah, 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 no, I don't teach that. And neither does the book of Hebrews. And I'm going to show y'all that. But what he's trying to do is he's trying to eliminate the personage of the man. That's why he won't go to Genesis 14. This is his second time up here, and he refused to go to Genesis 14 because he knows y'all can see a man who called the priest after the Most High God who blessed Abraham. But I'm going to take you to another level because we don't get to Hebrews and how he's blundering his way through it because we don't understand what he's reading. And that's why he don't want to deal with this. He keeps taking out of Levi. Oh, Levi got a perpetual covenant. I don't disagree with any of that. And he knows I don't. But he's on here trying to play y'all like behind the scenes. I told him Levitical priesthood done away with. And even in that sense, you don't understand what perpetual means because the Levitical priesthood is not operating right now. So in practice, it's not perpetual. The Melchizedek priesthood, though, being a spiritual priesthood, in practice, never stopped. That's what Hebrews is doing. It's comparing the Melchizedek priesthood to the Levitical priesthood. It's not trying to debunk one or the other. It's just showing you the difference, which one is superior. So he's reading Hebrews, and he's seeing that it's superior, but at the same time, he's trying to use Hebrews to try to say, well, it don't say that. You don't understand what he's reading. But I'm going to take out his history, and I'm going to show y'all how our ancient Hebrews, non-Christian source, understood who Melchizedek was. Because if they thought he was just a regular individual or just somebody who was just whatever, then why are they interpreting him like this? They're reading Psalms 110, and they can see some type of supernatural influence behind this guy. We're going to go to Philo. Philo was a Jew that lived in Alexandria. He was a real Hebrew Israelite, and he wrote during the late BC, early 1st century. Let's see what he said about Melchizedek so we can get an understanding of how our ancient Hebrew forefathers view this Melchizedek figure who Kolayah keeps trying to act like don't exist, never talked about again, won't come back. This is Philo, Allegorical Interpretation 3, chapter 25, verse 79. And I'm not saying this is scripture. I'm just using this as a historical reference because he's giving you this new age to not only stuff. He's not giving you any background on how our Hebrew forefathers looked at this. Look what it says. Moreover, God made Melchizedek the king of peace, that is, of Salem. Notice that Philo has no problem seeing this actual man being a priest. It says, for that is the interpretation of this name, his own high priest. Wait a minute, this ain't the New Testament. So why would Philo call him a high priest? Because they understood because he was his own priest that makes him a high priest just like the Most High God. If you ask Kolayah right now, do he believe in other gods, he'll say no, but he refers to the Most High God as the Most High. So don't tell me that you have to have that word Most High there when it's implied when you're the only one. That's what that means. That's why it says he was a high priest, because it says right here he was his own priest. Look what it says. Without having previously mentioned any particular action of his, but merely because he made him a king and a lover of peace, God made Melchizedek these things, and especially worthy of his priesthood. For he is called a just king, and a king is the opposite of a tyrant, because the one is the interpreter of law, the other of lawlessness. So notice that our Hebrew forefathers. And I'm going to give y'all more history. You know, maybe when I come back, I'm trying to let y'all see that our Hebrew forefathers looked at Melchizedek as an individual who actually existed. So when you go to Psalms 110 and it says you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, you can't translate out the name and replace it with the definition and try to say, oh, all it was saying is that David is a righteous king. That is a proper name. You can't do that. The proper name is Kolayah. Ask any expert of Hebrew. You cannot do that. Whatever your name means, let's just say, for example, I don't know what your name means. Let's say, for example, your name means righteous brother. I'm not going to be calling you righteous brother every time I address you or write about you. I'm going to put your name there. I might tell people what it means, but I'm going to put it there. But the translation that he's reading, and you got to ask yourself, sisters and brothers, why is this guy not reading the King James like every other Tanakh only Hebrew that comes on this? Why is he trying to find a book that specifically backs up his argument? Because he knows they translated that name out of Psalms 110, so you won't see a priest after the order of Melchizedek. It'll just say, you are a righteous king. That's what he's trying to do. That's the game he's trying to run. That's why he's not reading the King James. And everybody who's not only that calls in, watch what book they come at you with. Watch what they're reading. They're going to try to back him up. But he's reading a book that's replacing a proper name with the definition of the name. That's the simple. Go to the Hebrew of the Strong Concordance. 44:42 is translated Melchizedek in Genesis 14, but righteous king in Psalms 110. When it's the same word there, and tell them to read, and I'm going to ask them to read it, right, from his translation, and what it says Melchizedek in Genesis 14. And the same Hebrew word is there. So why translate it there and then translate the definition in Psalms 110? Because he's reading these fake Jews translations of Psalms 110, so they don't want you to see anything messianic about this. But I'm going to show you that Philo thought something messianic about this. Still in Philo, we're in chapter 26. We're reading 82, verse 82, and it says, this is the Philo allegorical interpretation 3. Look what it says right here. Notice how Philo is talking about this Melchizedek. But Melchizedek shall bring forward. Notice he's speaking in future tense. This is like 2,000 years after Abraham and Melchizedek existed. So why is this Jew, this random Jew who's around in the 1st century, why is he speaking of Melchizedek as if he could return? It says, but Melchizedek shall bring forward wine instead of water, and shall give their souls to drink, and shall cheer them with unmixed wine, in order that they may be wholly occupied with a divine intoxication, more sober than sobriety itself. For a reason is a priest, having as it inherited the true God, and entertaining lofty and sublime and magnificent ideals about him. For he is the priest of the Most High God. Why is Philo teaching Melchizedek going to come back? Because they read Psalms 110, and they know whoever is after the order of Melchizedek, it has to be something that's supernatural. Because this person is at the right hand of God, and he was told he's going to be after the order of Melchizedek. And they understood that to be higher than anything. This is why he thought he was going to come back. Kolayah knows nothing about this. And I'm going to show y'all more history showing y'all that people thought that Melchizedek was a supernatural being, because our ancient Hebrew forefathers knew that whatever he had and whoever priesthood operated under him had something higher than anything it created on this earth, superseded anything created on this earth, including the priesthood of Aaron. This is non-New Testament. We'll be back. Take it away, Sal.
All right, testing out the special effects. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. By the way, family, this Monday we have a segment called The Hot Seat. That's right, The Hot Seat is back. So far, we had Nasi Yashavel come on. We had Zion Lex come on. And this Monday at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have special guest Zadok Ben Israel. He's going to be right here in the Hot Seat segment. That's the show where you call in with any question or comment for 60 minutes or more. You can ask any question that you would like. So, again, the Hot Seat's coming on 8 p.m. Eastern Time this Monday, right here on Debate Talk Radio. You don't want to miss it. Let's jump into this second rebuttal part of this debate. It's going to be 8 minutes each. Let's go back to Kolayah. Kolayah, go ahead.
Okay. Again, this gentleman is using Philo, people. He's going out all outside of the law, showing you
philosopher who was Hellenistic in thought, which means he had a Greek mindset. The Greeks were the people who thought that the king was a king or a sun god and a high priest. These are not things that are according to the customs of the Israelites. And he's saying that I'm saying that Melchizedek never existed. We're not debating about Genesis 14. We're talking about the Melchizedek priesthood replacing the Levitical priesthood. That's what the debate is about. He's saying that I'm using a different translation. I'm looking at the language itself. And we started off with Hebrews 5 and 10 for a reason, to show you how they added to the law. They put the Melchizedek priesthood now as a high priesthood. The Melchizedek priesthood is dealing with kings of righteousness that only belongs to Judah. And according to Hebrews 7 and 14, there is nothing written in the law concerning Judah and the priesthood. I'm not changing anything. And regardless of what I'm reading, if the language tells me something, I should go with the language. I can't always trust the English, especially a King James Version at times, because I know the King James Version is trying to indoctrinate you with this person called the Christ of the New Testament, who you call Jesus Christ. He never called himself a high priest. I need you to show me that in your Gospels, since you're so adamant that I'm trying to change something. Now, I'm going to read something to you according to the prophet Jeremiah to show you that this Melchizedek order, or the sons of David, always coexist with the Levites. They never do away with each other. The Levites stay in their lane as being priests. The kings stay in their lane as being the kings. But again, just because you see the word Kohen does not mean you're talking about one who deals with the altar. That is strictly to the Levites. Now I'm going back to Jeremiah 33, and I'm going to read, verse 17. For thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Now David is the one to whom Psalm 10 is speaking about. David was the one to whom all of his enemies, the land had rest. Show us where the Christ of the New Testament gave the land rest. Show us where the Christ of the New Testament operated as king and priest during his 3 years of ministry. Show us this. Verse 18, neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually. And the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. Now, if we go back to the letter of Hebrews, chapter 7, and in specific, verse 18, says that it's a disannulling, which means there's a counseling, there's a change of the law. 7 and 18. For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before the weakness and unprofitableness of thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope, by the which we draw nigh unto God. And inasmuch as not without an oath, he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath. By him that said unto him, the Lord sware and will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And by so much was Jesus made of surety a better testament. Again, people, I'm not changing anything. The letter of Hebrews is trying to indoctrinate you with this nonsense of the covenant being broken with Levi. It will never happen. You still see the sun. You still see the phases of the moon. That means that when the house of Israel is restored, the house of Levi would be restored to its position, and the sons of Aaron would be restored to their position, and David will sit on his throne. The sons of David will sit on his throne. There's never a counseling out. There's never a disannulling. The law is not weak. The law is perfect. According to what we read in Proverbs 30:5, it says that every word of God is pure. And according to Psalms 119, in the Lamed section, it says that the law is settled forever in the heavens. So my dear brother is going to have to show us where there's this spiritual priesthood of the order of Melchizedek. He's going to have to show us who were the sons of this Melchizedek in Genesis 14. Where is the bloodline? You're trying to make this Melchizedek the Christ of the New Testament and make him an eternal figure, but in reality, according to the Gospel of the letter of Galatians, chapter 4:4, it says that Jesus was born of a woman. So that couldn't have been Melchizedek. So my dear brother is going to have to show us, instead of going to Philo, show us in the law and the prophets where the covenant is broken with Levi. Show us where they've been replaced. Thank you, and that's my time for right now.
All right, family, we got more and more people calling into the show. Does the Melchizedek Priesthood supersede the Levitical Priesthood? Is the name of this debate. Special guest debating this topic is Kolayah versus Bro.Josh. That number, once again, 319-527-6239. Put it on speed dial. Make sure you call in during the public Q&A where you can finally call in with your questions and your comments. All you got to do is dial that number, press number 1, and later on we hope to hear from you. Also, my email is open, debatetalkview@gmail.com. That's debatetalk, the number 4, and the letter U @gmail.com. You can send me a question, send me a comment, and when we get to the public Q&A portion, I'll gladly read out your questions or your comments. But let's go into the second rebuttal part of this debate. Let's go back to Bro.Josh. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sal. And let me just tell you right now that you lied, Kolayah, by assumption, because you just said, I'm trying to make the Christ of the New Testament, or Melchizedek, the Christ of the New Testament. No, I'm not. I don't even teach that. And I got a lot of stuff on record to prove that. So stop making assumptions and just ask me, brother, because I'm not making any assumptions about you. Second of all, if you notice, he said, we ain't talking about Genesis 14, huh? Just like saying we're not talking about Levi, and you start out by reading Levi in a Levi-related class. I got to go to Genesis 14 because that's where Melchizedek is first mentioned. He keeps talking about the language. He's running from this because, first of all, he just took a shot at all the Tanakh on Hebrew. Y'all don't understand this because he's saying all y'all that read the New Testament, the King James Version Bible, is trying to indoctrinate you with the New Testament, but for some reason, they're going to keep the Tanakh intact. If they tamper with the New Testament, then they tamper with the Tanakh. Don't get up here and try to create some pseudo-conspiracy where the King James is cool except for the New Testament. If we can't trust the New Testament in the King James, then we can't trust the Tanakh. So don't play any games, bro. When it comes to that name, Melchizedek, Strong's Hebrew 4442, I'm going to keep mailing it home, it's translated as a name in Genesis 14. And watch, when I asked him to read the translation in the cross-examination, watch the name Melchizedek appears there. But in Psalms 110, they translated it out and replaced it with the definition because they don't want that Psalms 110 to read, you are a priest after the order of Melchizedek, because it's telling you that whoever is sitting at the right hand of God with the highest position of power ever is a priest after the order of Melchizedek. He keeps trying to place the stipulations of Levi on the Melchizedek order. That's why he keeps saying, show me Melchizedek's son. That's not how the Melchizedek priesthood works. That's what Hebrews is trying to tell you. It's drawing parallels and differences between Melchizedek and Levi, and this brother like he's too slow to see it. Then when he does see it, he tries to place the requirements for Levi on Melchizedek. I'm telling you that when the Levitical priesthood was in existence, when Psalm 110 was written, God said to somebody, I don't care who you think he is, you are a priest after the order of Melchizedek. So don't show me anything about Levi. Because he said Melchizedek. Every time he does this, he keeps taking you to Levi. You don't want to deal with that order after Melchizedek. Look up that word order in the Hebrew. He wants to translate the name out and then say, you are a righteous king. So that gets rid of the concept or the prophecy or the statement that somebody is operating under another priesthood separate from Levi. This is what he's trying to do, y'all. Pay attention to the game he's running. He's trying to eliminate the Melchizedek priesthood or Melchizedek as a priest. No, it ain't got nothing to do with Genesis 14. Yes, it does. Because if there was an actual Melchizedek who was priest of the Most High God, and later on we read that somebody is going to be a priest like him, then you have to ask yourself, if Aaron's priesthood was already in existence, how could God save that? Well, he already told you whoever this guy is, he's sitting at the right hand of God, which according to Scripture represents the highest position of rank. So if this guy is sitting at the right hand of God and he's after the order of Melchizedek, that means the Melchizedek priesthood has the highest rank of any priesthood God will ever establish. He even predates it. Read it in Genesis. What happened to the Melchizedek priesthood, Kolayah? Did it just disappear? Did God just say, okay, Melchizedek, we done? He was priest of the Most High God, and he was higher than Abraham. That's what Genesis is telling you, right? But let me take you to the Dead Sea Scrolls and show you historically, because he wasn't thinking, well, Philo was, he was Hellenized, and that's where he got that interpretation from. Well, the Essenes in Quran, they stayed in Israel. They weren't Hellenized. Let's see what they came up with, because I knew he was going to try to do that. They always try to play these games with the sources. So let's see how another sect of Hebrews who stayed inside of Israel, let's see how they understood this. This is the Heavenly Prince Melchizedek, fragment 2QI3, right? This is what it says. It says, and it will be proclaimed at the end of days concerning the captives, as he said, because that's what the Dead Sea Scrolls do, it gives interpretation. It says, to proclaim liberty to the captives. That's in Isaiah 61. Y'all know that. It says, its interpretation is that he will assign to the sons of heaven and to the inheritance of Melchizedek. For he will cast their lot amid the portion of Melchizedek, who will return them there and will proclaim to them liberty, forgiving them the wrongdoing of all their iniquities. Wait a minute. Why did our ancient Hebrew forefathers, first we seen Philo, now we see the Essenes and Quran, why are they making Melchizedek messianic? Why do they see this guy as holding a high rank? Because they knew that Psalms 110 was one, messianic, and two, anybody after that priesthood was looked upon as supernatural. This is how our Hebrew forefathers viewed Melchizedek. Not like Kolayah, who keeps running from the issue. He want to keep talking about Levi. He keeps trying to make it. He keeps showing you that Levi's covenant is perpetual. I don't have a problem with that. I told him that. But he keeps hammering that whole creating the strawman argument that by me telling you that one is higher than the other, which you can see from the context of Psalms 110 and how our Hebrew forefathers viewed Melchizedek in general, that they thought that this guy was supernatural. That's why Philo said he's going to return. That's why the Essene said he's going to return. I just think you can more Jewish thoughts, but I'm not going to do that all night. I just want to show y'all how they viewed it. And you tell me, why did they come to that conclusion? But look what else it says, right? It says he will return them and will proclaim to them liberty, forgiving them the wrongdoers. And don't worry, y'all, we don't go to Hebrews 7. And this thing will occur in the first week of the Jubilee that follows the 9th Jubilee and the Day of Atonement. Look at what it is saying here. We're going to skip down. And Melchizedek will avenge the vengeance of the judgment of God. And he will drag them from the land of Belial and from the hands of all the spirits of his lot. Again, why are they doing this? Why are our Hebrew forefathers and different sects reading about Melchizedek and making him messianic? Why are they making him supernatural? Because they're reading Psalms 110 and they know that whoever is sitting at the right hand of God, if he's after the order of Melchizedek, then he's after something supernatural. This ain't New Testament. I'm not reading this. This is how our Hebrew forefathers viewed it. I showed you in Philo, and I'll show you in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So when you get to the New Testament and you read the book of Hebrews, this is not something that the author of Hebrews just created. Oh, and to correct you, Kolayah, most scholars believe that Paul wrote the book of Hebrews, not Timothy. Get the facts straight, bro. That's it for now. We'll be back.
All right, family. Hopefully you're taking down your notes. As I always say, take down your notes from both sides and make sure you study to show thyself approved. Again, the number to call in, 319-527-6239. By the way, just to let y'all know, we have another on-trial series right here on Debate Talk. For those that missed the two that went on previously, go to the archives and go check it out. We had non-messianic Messianics on trial, we had the Messianics on trial, and now the preliminary is coming up for Christianity on trial, defenders of the faith. So we have two teams. We have Team Christian and Team Hebrew. So the captain for Team Christian is Messenger of Truth, and the captain for Team Hebrew is Mac Thomas. Again, the preliminary is going down April 15th right here on Debate Talk for you, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You're going to hear from both teams. You're going to hear from all you guests, and the actual trial is going to go down on Friday, April 26th. Friday, April 26th. So you don't want to miss that trial. Christianity on trial, defenders of the faith. Get on Debate Talk for you. So let's get into this third rebuttal part of this debate. It's going to be 8 minutes each. We're going to go back to Kolayah, and after this, we're going to have the cross-examination part of this debate. But let's start this third rebuttal part of this debate. Kolayah, go ahead.
Shalom. And again, we're talking about the Melchizedek priesthood replacing the Levitical priesthood. Okay? And I'm not saying that Brother Josh is changing or trying to replace doing any type of change. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm talking about what's in the New Testament. That's what I'm talking about. That's where this doctrine is coming from. I'm not talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls or Philo. I'm coming with the scriptures against the letters of condemnation. Now, again, the Creator, according to Malachi chapter 2, he says, verse 4, "And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Lord of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid of me before my name. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge. They should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts." How dare the letter of Hebrews and Timothy, who did write this book, go look up the Bible Gateway, and it'll show you clearly who the author is. How dare Timothy sit up and try to replace the Levitical priesthood with this so-called spiritual priesthood that Brother Josh speaks of that's going on today? Where is this Melchizedek order? He stated earlier that there's no priesthood today. Well, where is the sons of David ruling at? The Creator said, according to Hosea, we would be without a priest and without a king and without a sacrifice. So you can sit up here and play the game all you want to and talk about the KJV and all this and that. I've been reading from the KJV all night. I've read Psalms 110 and 4 out of the JPS just to show how the KJV and the translators of it try to indoctrinate the Christ of the New Testament. So I'm not trying to bang on the Christ of the New Testament. I was just showing scripture how the Creator has made a covenant with both families. And neither family can overstep their role. And the Creator, to put it for real, the words of Christ don't give you life unless he's speaking the words that Moses spoke. According to Malachi 2 and 6, he says the law of truth was in his mouth, was in the mouth of who? Levi. He's the teacher. He's the instructor. He's the one that gives Israel the ability to walk in righteousness because he teaches the law. Moreover, the Creator says in Malachi 3 that he was 3 and 3. He says, "And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness." So the Creator is not doing away with anybody. He's not doing away with the sons of David, again, who are the kings of righteousness, who have an eternal covenant as kings, and he's not doing away with the priesthood of Levi, who serve in the temple. Let's look at Zechariah chapter 6. And yes, brother, I'm going to read this from a different translation out of the JPS because of the fact that the King James Version at that particular chapter of Zechariah 6 did a poor job of translating. Let me get this for you. And let me read this for you here, according to Zechariah 6 out of the JPS. Give me 1 second here. Let me get it pulled up for you. And it reads, let's see here. Let's go back up here. Let's start at 6 and 9. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Take of them of the captivity, even of Heldah and Tobiah and Jedediah, that are come from Babylon, and come thou the same day, and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. Yea, take silver and gold, and make crowns, and set the one upon the head of Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and speak unto him, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Behold, a man whose name is the shoot, and who shall shoot up out of his place and build the temple of the Lord. Even he shall build the temple of the Lord. He shall bear the glory and sit and rule upon his throne, and there shall be a priest before his throne, and the counsel of peace shall be between them both. So clearly, according to the law and the prophets, the counsel of peace dwells between both families. Israel is under the Levitical priesthood in regards to tabernacle service, in regards to instruction. And, Levi is under the priesthood order, dealing with the sanctuary. And the sons of David, the house of Judah, particularly the families that come from Jesse, that come from David and Solomon, not Nathan, are the ones who are in charge of kingship. Now, if you read that same verse of the King James Version, let me read it to you so I can show you the contradiction. 6 and 13, even he shall build the temple of the Lord, and he shall bear the glory, and sit and rule upon his throne, and he shall be a priest upon his throne, and the counsel of peace shall be between them both. So if you're reading this from the KJV, it says that Zerubbabel would have been king and priest. And you have to go and read a different translation or look at the language to see that there's always a king, a Melchizedek, who represents righteousness, who has to operate in righteousness, and there's always a Kohen Gadol, a high priest that stands with the king. You can't get around that. Even King David said, according to 1 Chronicles 15, that the Levites, according to the book of Moses, are the only ones in charge of the Ark of the Covenant. You can't show us where Melchizedek, from Genesis 14, did anything in the temple. You can't show us his priesthood that you're thinking of. Where is his temple? Where were the other priests? Just because you see the word priest, like I said, does not mean that you're talking about a Levite. That's my rebuttal, and thank you for your time again.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
All right, family. Once again, it's Debate Talk for you. I see we have a lot of people on social media checking out the show, and people making some comments. You know, I got this debate posted in several groups, and we appreciate the people that's participating, checking out the show, calling in, and listening online. Once again, it's Debate Talk Radio. So let's go to Brother Josh with his third rebuttal part of this debate, and after that, we're going to go to the cross-examination part. Brother Josh, go ahead.
All right, let me go ahead and kill this dude credibility right quick and show y'all why his name is Kolayah, because he be lying. This is BibleGateway.com under the letter to the Hebrews. Then I'm going to take you to the book of Hebrews. It says, usually Hebrews was attached in Greek manuscript to the collection of letters by Paul. Although no author is mentioned, for there is no address, a reference to Timothy suggests his connection to the circle of Paul and his assistants. Now we're going to read Hebrews 13 and 23. Let me just go ahead and bust this guy out to be a liar. Kolayah. Watch this. Hebrews 13, 23. Now, why would he say this if it's written by Timothy? Know ye that our brother Timothy is set at liberty, with whom, if he comes shortly, I will see you. Now, in Timothy's book, why is he referring to Timothy as his brother? That's Bible Gateway and the book of Hebrews. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're a liar. So you don't even read this book. See, by now, this should be over, because he don't lie twice. I tried to correct him. I said, most scholars say it's written by Paul. No, it don't. It says Timothy. And he took me to Bible Gateway. I know what the New Testament scholars and sources say. You don't. You are a liar. Kolayah. It's in your name. I tried to be careful with you, bro, but see, now you're trying to write your name like you always do. But this time you busted. Follow behind me, www.BibleGateway.com. Look it up, the letters to the Hebrews. It says exactly that. And Timothy is even mentioned in the book of Hebrews, so he called himself his own brother. Stop it, dude. You done. You've been done. Now let's go to Hebrews 7. I don't know why this dude playing with me, dude. He's playing with y'all, because he can't play with me. This is Hebrews 7. Now, watch how you try to come on and try to dress up and say something like, well, maybe it was Bible Gateway, maybe it was another reference. Watch how you do. Now you got to back something. Just like you don't want to deal with Hebrews, Genesis 14. You don't read the New Testament, dude. Your understanding of the New Testament is weak, and your understanding of the Tanakh is even weaker. That's why you don't want to acknowledge the order of Melchizedek in Psalms 110, because you know it is saying that whoever this guy is would be after the pattern of Melchizedek. You run to JPS when it suits you. That's what you do. And then you go back to King James Version when it suits you. That's what he's been doing all night. Pick a lane, dude. JPS or KJV. Which one it going to be? But this is Hebrews 7 and 1. I just had to go ahead and kill his credibility right quick. Anybody call in trying to back him up now, you're backing a liar. You're backing somebody who don't do full research. Lying on the New Testament. Lying on the New Testament scholars. You back them in, you're endorsing a liar. If you back them up. Just want y'all to know that, if you're listening. Hebrews 7, verse 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abram returning from the slaughter of the kings, and blessed him. Before you even get to the New Testament, sisters and brothers, that's why I showed you the history so y'all can see that our Hebrew forefathers understood Melchizedek to be special as a priest, superior. That's why I took y'all there. That completely went over his head. He didn't catch that. He started making it seem like the author of Hebrews that made Melchizedek all powerful out of nowhere. No. Psalms 110 is where the Melchizedek priesthood supersedes the Aaron priesthood, because the Aaron priesthood was already in existence, and yet God told somebody, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, and you're going to rule the world. David didn't rule the world. That's what it means to judge the nations. That means to rule the world. David never ruled the world. David beat the Philistines and a few Hamites. He didn't conquer the Gentiles, Japheth. Show me that. Show me what David conquered the whole world. But it said this guy going to judge the nations. That's messianic. So show me where David ever ruled the world, Kolayah. We said, well, Jesus never ruled the world. Well, the Bible talks about that as prophecy. We're not claiming that he did. We're saying that one day he will. You can choose to believe that or not. But you can't say that David did, because that's history. Now you have to show in history that David ruled the world. But look what else it says. To whom also Abram gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, doesn't mean by translation, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace. Yes, there's symbolism in his name, Kolayah, but it's still just a name attached to a person. So you can't make it be king of righteousness or righteous king when it's attached to a person. You don't even understand how proper names work. Don't you understand how proper names work? That means it's representing an individual. So when it said after the order of Melchizedek, it meant after the order of an individual. That's what it meant. Not just a righteous king in general, which you're trying to make it say. That's why you keep running to the JPS. So it's poorly translated. Are you a Hebrew scholar? Can you give me your degrees and certifications in the Hebrew language, biblical Hebrew, before you start saying something is poorly translated? Because I don't think you have those credentials to be making statements like that. But we're going to continue. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, about a priest continue. In another class, I can show you that there's simply meant there is no genealogy attached to his priesthood. This is another comparison between him and the Levitical priesthood, which required genealogy. See, the Melchizedek person, the personage, the individual, you notice he don't want to deal with him. But he'll deal with Levi all night, even though both names are in the title. Levi, or specifically Aaron, was the actual individual that lived. So was Melchizedek. So why aren't we starting with both of them? Let's start with the individuals and their priesthood and compare them. All he wants to do is Levi. That's why he don't want to go to Genesis 14, because he knows he can see it. He knows he sees an individual there. So when you get to Psalms 110, he wants to erase all semblance of Melchizedek and just make it a generic righteous king, right? But we're going to skip down and look what it says right here. Verse 15. And it is far evident, because he read this, that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arises another priest. Another priest. That's what Psalms 110 is talking about. That's how all the ancient Hebrews interpreted that. They interpreted Melchizedek to be another priest, which means another priest. Nobody interpreted that the way he did. He goes, well, it's not in the Tanakh. It didn't go into effect yet. That means you can read the Tanakh right now. That hasn't happened yet. So he ain't asking what happened to that. What happened to people on earth, Kolayah? What happened to the lion eating star like an ox, Kolayah? That's in the Tanakh. I don't think you trying to rush that and make that have to be now. So stop playing these games, dude. Like, it got to show you right now. It got to happen right then and there. It's a prophecy, dude. It happens when the Lord at the right hand is ruling. Then it says this, who was made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. Whoever the psalmist was addressing is after the order of Melchizedek, an individual that lived, meaning he operates like he did. You keep bringing up Levi like Melchizedek don't exist. So we can go ahead and go to this intermission or cross-examination, whatever coming up next, because I want to see what he got to say about all of this when he questions me. But I'm done. That's cool.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
All right, family. Once again, it's Debate Talk for you. I'm your host, Salshowtime. The number to call in 319-527-6239. By the way, I forgot to mention, and I mentioned this in the last team debate that we had last week. If you missed it, check that out in the archives. That anybody that debates inside the Lions Den from here on in can also do a lesson using the same topic. So not only will you have the debate, you can also have a lesson so you can get further understanding. And that goes for everybody that comes on from here on in on the platform, that they can have that option of teaching a lesson after the debate. So I just want to let y'all know. All right, so let's get this cross-examination thing going. Once again, the number is 527-6239. For those that are new to the show, during the cross-examination, it's going to be 10 minutes each. The person that's going to be answering the question has 1 minute to answer. They'll have 1 minute to answer the question. Once that time is up, you're going to hear this sound. All right, once you hear that sound, that means the time is up. Now, the person asking the question has time for a little rebuttal, but he has to go immediately right into the next question. So let's get this thing started. You're going to start off with Kolayah asking questions to Brother Josh. You can go ahead, Kolayah.
Shalom, Brother Josh.
Shalom.
Dear brother, let me correct you right quick while I got the time. First off, if you go to the Bible Gateway and look at the King James King James version that's authorized, 1611, let me get that straight while you're calling me a liar and trying to discredit me. So let's get to the question.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Why did you say that? I didn't hear you. What did you say that was?
I said go to Bible Gateway and look at the authorized King James Version, 1611. Read the rest of verse 25 that the translators of your KJV left out. And it says that the letter was written by Timothy from it. So watch who you calling a liar. Because the only liar on the phone now is you. Now, can I get to my question, please?
All right, get into your questions. Go ahead. Time is running. Go ahead.
What will the Levites do in the future if the Melchizedek order is over Levi and JC's blood is the last sacrifice?
Well, for one thing, I don't teach that JC's blood is the last sacrifice in the sense of there's no return of the Levitical priesthood. I have a whole lesson titled The Return of Levitical Priesthood, and one I did was on Debate Talk with You titled Return of Torah Law. All the Melchizedek priesthood entails of is a king who's going to be also operating as a priest, but not in the sense of sacrificing. That's why you don't read anything about Jesus performing sacrifices at the altar or the apostles or anybody doing that. It just means that the Levites are still going to be doing their thing. They're going to be doing it during the time of what the New Testament calls the 1,000-year millennial reign of Christ. Christ is going to be ruling, or the Messiah is going to be ruling over them from Jerusalem. That's all that means, that the king is also going to be a priest in the sense of teaching. Because that's a priest's first job, is to teach people and to be that mediator, which you said earlier, between God and man, just like you gave Aaron. That's all I'm saying.
Next question.
What prophet says Melchizedek will be in the temple of Ezekiel's vision?
If there's nowhere in the book of Ezekiel that Melchizedek will be there, just like there are things written in Isaiah that don't appear in Ezekiel and things written in Jeremiah that don't appear in Isaiah. I don't approach prophecy with the mindset of it has to say it in here and in here and in here for me to believe it. I also don't approach the Tanakh with the understanding that after Malachi, God was done revealing revelations to Israel. I believe that in the first century, he was still dealing with his people, giving them inspiration through the Holy Spirit. So, no, it's not in Ezekiel, and I'm not making that claim or anything like that.
Okay. Now, according to Hebrews 7 and 18, it says there's a disannulling of the law. But according to Matthew 5, 18 through 20, the Christ of the New Testament says that heaven and earth will pass away before one jot or tittle fails. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I believe that the law is still good and that it should be kept. But because of the Aaronic priesthood being attached to the stipulations of how Israel conducted themselves, this is what the author of Hebrews is getting at. This is what made the Aaronic priesthood not perfect in the sense of not the priesthood itself, but when Israel sinned, if you notice, every time Israel sinned to a major degree, what usually happens? They went into captivity. While they was in captivity, their temple was usually destroyed or defiled. So the Aaronic priesthood could not be practiced. So that's what made it weak in that sense when it's talking about that the Melchizedek priesthood disannuls it, meaning that we're dealing with a priesthood that cannot happen to. You cannot disannul the Melchizedek priesthood because it's a spiritual priesthood. That's what the author of Hebrews is explaining to people. And that's what a lot of people miss. This is the reason why I tried to take you to the beginning, to show you that he's an actual person who was of Abraham.
So you don't agree with Hebrews 7 and 18 then?
I do agree with Hebrews 7 and 18. I just explained to you that what it means when it says that. Look what it says. For there is verily, which means truly, a disknowing of the commandment going before for the weakness and the unprofitableness thereof. Let me ask you a question.
You can't answer any questions right now.
I know.
Yep.
No. I'm going to put it out in form. Like, okay, I can't answer no question. I just corrected myself. Chill, y'all. I said, how can that be profitable if it's not existing? The Aaronic priesthood is not profiting anybody right now. We can't even celebrate the Day of Atonement correctly because we don't have a high priest in Jerusalem making an atonement. That makes it weak because it's always attached to Israel's sin. This is why when the Messiah rules over the earth and the enemies can no longer affect Israel because, number one, they're going to be protected. Number two, they're going to be righteous. This is why it won't be weak anymore. See, the Melchizedek priesthood is going to strengthen Levi. It's going to make it untouchable. That's the whole point. But that's my
okay. All right. Well, Hebrews 7 and 12 says the priesthood was changed, and there's also a change in the law. So can you show us this change in the law? Because Hebrews 7:14 says there's nothing written in the law priesthood. So can you please show us in the law where this change was made?
Yes, in Psalms 110. When this was written, the priesthood of Levi or Aaron existed. So whoever is at the right hand of the Father, it says the Lord has sworn and will not repent, meaning he's not going to change his mind about this. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. It doesn't matter who you think he's talking to or talking about. This was written when Aaron's priesthood existed. So if you were back then during the time of Aaron, and God said, Kolayah, you are a priest after the order of Melchizedek, which is another individual who actually existed earlier in history, then there's no way you can't tell me that this is not saying that whatever he's giving you is different from Levi. It's Melchizedek. You're after the order. That means you operate like him. You got things in common with him. You're similar to him. And you're also going to rule the world. That's what it means to judge the nation.
Okay. Luke 1, verses 5 through 8. If this Levitical priesthood was so... Hello?
I didn't hear you. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said, Luke chapter 1, still operating in righteousness. How does the Christ of the New Testament righteousness then? If these priests were already operating in for his death.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that second part of your question. You said, how did the Levitical priesthood was still operating righteously? How? And that's why I lost you at.
Right, because the letter of Hebrews is making it sound as if you don't have the Christ in the New Testament, you don't have any righteousness. So how was the Levitical priest able to operate in righteousness?
In Luke chapter 1 and what?
Verses 5 through 8.
Okay, give him more time, Sal, because I couldn't hear him, please. I don't want him to feel like that, I'm stalling, because I couldn't hear him. 5 through 8. Luke 1, chapter 5 through 8. It said, there was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias, right? And he was righteous. Jesus was not even born yet. He was not even born yet. And even when Jesus got here, he spoke about people being righteous who had just met him for the first time. But it's talking about two different concepts of righteousness. You got people in the New Testament who aren't even Christians, and it refers to them as devout men. So it's not like there's no form of righteousness that exists before you convert over to a believer in the Mashiach. So yes, it's possible for this guy to be righteous, and on top of this, Jesus wasn't even born yet.
So I don't need the Christ of the New Testament to be righteous then. I don't need his priesthood to be righteous according to what you're saying then.
No. What I'm saying is you have to believe in the Mashiach to be saved. Your righteousness alone, you don't have enough righteousness on your own. I'm not saying you can't be righteous at all without Jesus. I don't teach that. I teach that your own righteousness is not enough. That's what I teach.
Oh, okay. All right. But you still haven't showed us where the Melchizedek order replaces the Levitical priesthood. I need you to show us that in the law. Reading in Hebrews.
I just
7.
did. Psalm 110. I did. When he said you are a priest after the order of Melchizedek, when the Aaron priesthood was in existence. You yourself said that if that was a statement that was made during the time of Levi, that would be a sin or a replacement. You said that something like that earlier yourself. That's why you read the JPS, because the JPS translates that out of there. I know that. I've been through this. I read the JPS. I got the Stone's edition to know. They do that.
Okay, that's good that you're doing that. But I look at the language, sir. Is the language so you telling me that a transliteration is more accurate than the language?
No, what I'm saying is in the original Hebrew language, it has the name, a proper name, Melchizedek. Yes. That is a mistranslation if you take a proper name and put the definition of it in this place when you translate it to another language. Like, for instance, my name is Joshua, Yeshua, Yah, salvation, salvation of Yah. But when you write my name down, you don't write salvation of Yah, you write Joshua or Yeshua. You don't put my definition because it's a proper name.
But Brother Josh,
you understand what I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Brother Josh, you on my time. Here's the thing. When you read Psalms 110 and 4, in the Hebrew, Melech is a separate word and Sedek is separated. So they're not talking about this person of Genesis.
All right, family. Once again, it's the cross-examination part of this debate, and after this, we're going to take a 8-minute break, and when we come back, my favorite part of this show, the public Q&A, where you, the listening audience, can finally chime in, ask your questions, and state your comments Again, that number to call in is 319-527-6239. You can also email me, debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. That's debatetalk, the number 4, and the letter U @gmail.com. Let's get this cross-examination going. Where are you? Hold on. I think we just lost Josh just now. Oh, I got him. Okay. All right, Josh, you can ask your questions to Kolayah. Okay.
Okay, Kolayah, could you please, first of all, you said that the difference is separated in the Hebrew. I'm looking in the Hebrew right now of Psalm 110 and 4, and it's the exact same spelling and way in the Hebrew for Genesis 14. Now, do me a favor. Could you read Genesis 14 and verse 18 in the JPS, please?
Okay. You want me to read it in English?
Yes, in the English, please. In the JPS.
Let me read it for you out of the JPS, sir. Genesis 14 and 18, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. King Melchizedek of Salem brought out bread and wine, and he was priest of God Most High.
Okay, first question. Does a proper name appear there in the English and the Hebrew?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now could you please read Psalm 110?
Hold on. Let me use this minute.
I didn't know you were done. Go ahead.
Well, in Psalms 1, in Genesis 18 and 14, 14 and 18, in the Hebrew, it's Melchizedek Zedek. And it's written the same way.
Could you read the same?
Hebrew,
Hold on. Let him finish. Go ahead, Kolayah. Continue.
And it's written the same way in Hebrew in Psalms 110 and 4. So what's your point?
So my question.
Hold on.
Why?
Wait. He has a minute. He has a minute. Let me use a minute.
Well, he asked me a question. He was done. He said, "What's your point?" That means he wanted me to ask another question. He asked the question, "What's your point?"
All right.
Another question. My question is, can you explain, out your own admission, that it appears the exact same way in Psalms 110 and 4 as it does in Genesis 14? Can you explain why it's translated as a proper name in Genesis, but as a definition in Psalms 110?
You said it's a proper name in Genesis, and then there's a what in Psalms 110? And I'm asking you to clarify.
In Psalms, okay, I'm gonna clear it up. Can you, when you just read it in the JPS, in Genesis 14, and you just admitted that in the Hebrew, the exact same word appears there the same way, arranged the same way in Psalms 110 and 4. So my question is, can you explain to me and the Debate Talk You listening audience why the JPS translated it as Melchizedek, a proper name, in Genesis, but translated it as righteous king or king of righteousness, a definition in Psalms 110 and 4? Is it the exact same word, a proper name? Why did they do that?
It's the same word. Sadek means righteousness. The King James and the JPS in the English, they do smash the word together. But when you look at the Hebrew itself, there's a hyphen in between them. And it separates Melech. Stop cutting me off, man. I didn't cut you off. Don't cut me off.
I thought.
Keep going, Kolayah. Keep going, Kolayah. Keep going.
Melech is king. Sadek is righteousness or righteous or justice. So regardless of how you slice it, in the English, it's still, whether it's the JPS, the NIV, the KJV, you still got to be able to go to the language and have some understanding. I'm not saying I'm the greatest Hebrew scholar, but I got enough understanding to understand the Aleph Bet and understand the Nakud and be able to read some things for myself. So, no. Go ahead, next question.
Okay, it's obvious to me that you don't understand what a proper name is versus a definition of a proper name or the meaning of a proper name. What I'm going to ask you is this. When you go to Psalms 110 and verse 4, what does it mean when it says, after the order of Melchizedek? You are a priest after the order of Melchizedek.
That word is liberty, and it means the manner or style. So it would be the customs. So that word order is actually manner or style. This is the way the kings did things. They ruled in righteousness according to the law. Next question.
Okay, that being the case, why does it say in the JPS after a righteous king when this is a name? What I'm asking you is, why did they translate it as a name referring to a person, an individual, in Genesis 14, but translated the name away and just gave the definition of what the name means? In other words, let me clarify the question for you. You've heard it. Why didn't it say after the order of the individual and made it say after the order of just what the name meant, when that's a proper name referring to an individual?
Well, from reading what I'm seeing in the English here, it says, the Lord has sworn and will not relent. You are a priest forever, comma. So all it's saying is that David is a prince or a chief ruler. He's a rightful king by my decree. So this king is in righteousness. He rules in righteousness. He's in right standing. So I don't know. I don't really understand your question, but regardless of how you try to twist it, the language itself separates the word Melech from Sedek. I don't know where you're trying to go with this.
Well, I think the debate talk for you audience understand exactly what I'm asking. So I'm going to go out on a limb and either say you can't catch it or you don't want to catch it. But here's my next question, right?
Okay.
Was Melchizedek an individual?
Yes, he was an individual.
Was
Yes,
he the
he was.
priest of the Most High God? Okay, was he the priest of the Most High God?
So that word priest, he was a ruler, and he served Elyon.
Okay.
He was
Did his priesthood. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Can you please check this guy and have him stop cutting me off?
Continue, Kolayah. Go ahead. Just continue. I got it. I'll jump in when it's time. Go ahead.
I appreciate you. Again, Melchizedek is a real person. I'd be speaking great words against the law if I said he wasn't. But he's also a Canaanite. He also ruled in Salem, which is in Canaan. So regardless of how the language puts it, he was a king of righteousness. He served Elyon, the Most High, God. It doesn't say that he served Yah. So where are we going here?
Oh, so my next question then is, do you believe that Abraham would have accepted a blessing from a king of a pagan god?
Would Abraham accepted a king from a pagan, accepted a blessing? Abraham gave him a
no, he blessed Abraham first. He blessed, let me explain. He blessed Abraham first, and it says he's the priest of the Most High God. So I'm asking you, would Abraham tithe, that means give a 10%, would he give 10% and allow a priest of a pagan god to bless him? Do you think Abraham would do that?
Let me read this. Let me read this for you, man. Again, this has nothing.
You have to read that.
Let me read it. Do I have permission to read, sir? Dear
Go ahead and read, brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And King Melchizedek of Salem brought out bread and wine. He was a priest of God Most High, and he blessed him, saying. So no, he didn't take it from. He took it from Melchizedek, and no, it wouldn't be a pagan god.
Okay, so did Melchizedek serve Yah, correct? Under the priesthood.
It says he served. He was a priest of God Most High. But again,
so
which I started off.
I'll ask you.
Hold on.
I asked a yes or no question. Hold on, Sal. I asked a yes or no question though. I said, did Melchizedek serve the Most High Yah? Yes or no? That's a yes or no question.
You can't tell me how to answer. And first of all, there wasn't no stipulations on yes or no.
He has a minute. Go ahead. He has a minute. Go ahead.
Again, it says he was a priest of Elyon, Most High. It doesn't say Yah anywhere in that language. So where are we going?
So I'm asking you, do you believe he served Yah? That's the question, Melchizedek. You said it don't say that, so I'm asking you, do you believe he served Yah? You're just telling me what it says. That's cool. But I'm asking you, do you believe Melchizedek was a priest of the Most High Yah? When it says that, does it mean that? Yah, is it referring to Yah?
Thank you, sir. Pronounces him as a righteous king, so I can't disagree with that. No.
So he was a priest of, so you believe that he was a priest of the Most High Yah. When it says priest of the Most High God, you do believe it's referring to Yah, correct?
Yes, he was a ruler. He was a ruler. Yes.
I didn't ask you if he was a ruler. I asked you, do you believe he's a priest of the Most High Yah? That's
I'm looking, sir, again, the language itself says that the word Kohen means prince, ruler, chief ruler. So, and even the text itself says he was a king, and he was a righteous king. So he had the ability to do what he do.
Okay, but again, my question is, do you, Kolayah, believe when it says the Most High God, it's referring to Yah, the same Yah that Moses and everybody else worship? Do you believe that? Yes or no, please?
Yes. Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, so wouldn't that mean that his priesthood predates Aaron's priesthood?
Sir, yes, it's before Aaron's priesthood. But here's the thing. The children of Israel are under the authority of the Levitical priesthood when it comes to worship, and they're under the authority of the sons of David in regards to rulership as kings. That's the law.
All right, family, there you have it. Hopefully you took down a whole bunch of notes. And we got to take an intermission break, family. So once again, we appreciate y'all for tuning into the show via phone, via Skype, via internet. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from you in the public Q&A, where you, the listening audience, can finally chime in. 319-527-6239. We're going to take an 8-minute break to be exact, so don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Stand by. Hey, the phone line is already lit. We got people that's been standing by from the beginning of the show. I see, it's all lined up, so we're going to go down the line and get some of your questions and your comments. For those that are new to the program, once you call in, you got to keep it clean, keep it professional. Believe it or not, we have people listening with the kids and even the elderly. So let's go down the line and get some of your questions. And if you can direct your question to the individual, our special guest here is Kolayah and Brother Josh. We can get through this faster because there's a lot of people standing by. So let's go down. Let's go to 951-382. You're live. Nine 5-1-382. You're live. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. But I didn't press one though.
Oh, you there? All right. So
no.
Let me. You want me to go back? Okay, I'll go to the next caller then. Blog Talk.
All right.
I appreciate you though. Let's go to 203-954. You're live.
Hey, what's going on, Sal? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you loud and clear. What's going on, man? Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's happening? I thought this has been a great debate so far. This is Kevin from ABT. But one of the things I really like is, the topic I don't think has something that's been done before. So I appreciate, Josh and Kolayah getting together to do this. I did have a question for Kolayah. I don't know if he's on the line right now. But if
he's
so,
here. He's on the line.
Oh, he's here? Okay. Kolayah, just a question for you because I know you and Josh in the cross-examination, you guys kind of touched upon this, but I want to get more clarity on your position regarding this verse. So when you read in Hebrews chapter 7:14 that the priesthood was changed, do you believe that this verse is saying that the Levitical priesthood was altered?
Well, in this particular verse, in Hebrews 7:14, it says it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. But if you read further down in Hebrews 7:20, it does say that the priesthood was changed. Even Hebrews 7:12 says for the priesthood being changed. There is made of a necessity a change also of the law. So the writer of Hebrews is stating that there's a change of the priesthood, which means he altered the law.
Okay, so and you're correct. When I mentioned Hebrews 7:14, I meant Hebrews 7:12. But the reason why I asked you that in particular because the word changed in Hebrews chapter 7:12 doesn't just mean alter. It could mean transpose. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, and the word,
Okay.
do you know what the word, I'm not trying to insult you. This is just a question out of curiosity. Do you know what the word transpose means?
Well, let me look it up for you so we can both be on the same page here.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
To change places with each other. Transfer to a different place or context. Okay?
Right. So, yeah, we're on the same page. The reason why I wanted to bring it out is because what this verse is really talking about is a transposing of the law, right? And you can find that word transpose used in other contexts, like Genesis 5:24, where it talks about Enoch being translated from earth to heaven. You could also find it written in the law, Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 17, where it says, "Curses he that removes his neighbor's landmark." Like, when you remove your neighbor's landmark, that doesn't mean that you alter it, but you do move it to another location. So I think the idea, maybe that guy, say what? Okay. Oh, no worries. So I think the point Josh is trying to get across, at least from our perspective, as Messianics, is when we read in Hebrews 7:12 and it talks about the priesthood being changed, it's more so like the priesthood and its authority was transposed or moved from one location to another, and that new location being the Melchizedek Priesthood. So that's all I wanted to bring out. I don't want to tie up the line. I just wanted to get your perspective on that word change. I appreciate you dialoguing with me.
No problem, brother. But let me respond to you before you go.
Okay.
You went back into the law. You went to Deuteronomy, and where else did you go to, brother?
Oh yeah, no worries. I'm reading the Greek out of the Septuagint, and the word change shows up in Genesis chapter 5:24, Deuteronomy 27:17. It also shows up in Proverbs 23:10. And another place it shows up is in Hosea 5:10.
Okay. Well, here's the thing about that in regards to this, and I want to say this to you, brother.
Okay.
The Greek can you actually translate Hebrew to Greek?
Well, I guess in order for me to better understand your question, do you believe that the ancient Hebrews translated Hebrew into Greek in order for the Alexandrian Hebrews to understand the scriptures?
The one thing about that in regards to the Septuagint is that from my little bit of limited research, I do know that Ptolemy had his hands in that, and we know that the Septuagint made some clear mistakes, like with Psalms 40 when it adds that he prepared for me a body. Also in the book of Acts, it says it was 75 souls that went into Egypt, and it was only 70 according to the book of Exodus. So I'm not a fan of the Septuagint because it creates more confusion. But I do know this, that you can't refer the letter of Hebrews was written in Greek, and to try to go back into the Old Testament and use the Hebrew language, that's not a good move. You're only going to create more confusion because they're two different language families.
Well, one thing I'll say, and then I'll get off because I don't want to tie up, the conversation into something that's outside of really the debate. But I will say this about Ptolemy. Ptolemy did have his hands in the construction, the beginnings of the Septuagint, but it wasn't from the standpoint of altering the Hebrew scriptures. All he did was commission Hebrew priests from Jerusalem. He commissioned them to translate the Hebrew text into Greek. That's really the extent of his involvement. But again, I'm gonna get off, man, because other people are on the line. Once again, brother, I appreciate you dialoguing with me, even though we disagree. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you taking out the time to listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you respond briefly, and I gotta let Josh get in too. Go ahead. You can respond briefly, though. Go ahead.
I was just telling brother, thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate the dialogue, man. I'll be happy to turn it over to Josh.
Oh, okay. All right, Josh, go ahead. You can respond.
I ain't really got no response. That's my guy cut off Kev. I already know where he is with it, so I ain't really got to address that. You can go on, please.
All right, let's go to the next caller. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. Simply press number 1 if you have a question and chime in. Let's go to 708-743 live.
Shalom, shalom, Brother Sal.
Hey, shalom. What's going on?
Shalom, Brother Kyle, Brother Josh. My question is for Brother Josh. Yeah, Josh, I would like to ask you. You're aware that the whole time that the Most High name was in Jerusalem, and the only time that it wasn't was when Abraham and Melchizedek was walking the earth. The Most High's name at that time was in Shiloh. That should be a real red flag, letting you know that the Most High wasn't involved with Melchizedek. Melchizedek, at the time of Abraham and Melchizedek, the Canaanites was ruling in the land. Israel wasn't even in the land. He was a Canaanite priest, a king of Salem in a time when the Canaanites were in the Holy Land. Now, I like to read Jeremiah 7, verse 1 through 12. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh saying, stand in the gate of Yahweh's house and proclaim there this word and say, hear the word of Yahweh, all ye of Yehudah that enter into these gates to worship Yahweh. 3. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in. 4. Trust ye not in lying words, saying, the temple of Yahweh, the temple of Yahweh, the temple of Yahweh are these. For if ye verily amend your ways and your doings, if you verily execute judgment between a man and his neighbor. 6. If you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods of your hurt, then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and forever. Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom ye know not? See, the Most High, Yah of Israel, knew that the nations had other gods. 10. And come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations. This house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers of your eyes. Behold, even I seen it, saith Yahweh. But go ye now unto the place which is in Shiloh, where I set my name as first, and see what I did to it for the wickedness of the people of Israel. The Most High's name wasn't even in Salem at the time when Melchizedek was in the land. The Most High's name was in Shiloh.
I'm not hearing a question. You said you had a question. You said you had a question. I'm not hearing a question.
My question is, why do you think that in the whole history of Israel, why do you think that the Most High's name wasn't in Salem when Melchizedek was in the land?
Okay, now let me answer that question by reading what the text actually says and providing some context. Because I was expecting this, because this is what they're going to, I'm going to talk to the debate off you audience as well. This is what they're going to try to do. See, what they're trying to do is disqualify Melchizedek either as an individual or as a priest of the Most High God to get away from that Psalms 110. I've been waiting on this. I thought Kolayah was going to do it more directly, but I'll call it. Let me read this to you. This is Genesis 14. Look what it says. 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, which if you read Psalms, it tells you that Zion, right, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. Hold on. Be quiet. Hold on, Sal. Can you mute this guy? Really?
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah, this was like saying no the whole time I'm reading. Come on, I was quiet the whole time. Okay. It says, and he blessed him and said, blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Now, if he did not serve the same God that Abraham served, there's no way Abraham would have accepted a blessing from this priest, let alone turn around and did this. And blessed be the Most High God, which have delivered thine enemies into thy hand. and he gave them tithes of all. So now we got Father Abraham tithing to an alleged pagan priest of the Canaanites. Let's keep reading. Now, watch how Abraham deals with the king of Sodom. See, you got to compare this stuff, brother. You can't just read and make assumptions. Look how Abraham deals with the king of Sodom. Notice he gave a tithe to him. It's all peace. But watch how he deals with the king of Sodom. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God. This is after Abraham was blessed by the king of Salem, by Melchizedek. Notice what he's saying this. He's addressing kings. Abraham is back on the slaughter, and he's dealing with kings. Look how he dealt with Melchizedek. Watch how he deals with the king of Sodom. Because we know Sodom didn't worship the God that he worshiped. Why would it say it? I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abraham rich. But he accepted the bread and the wine from Melchizedek. But you don't want to take nothing from the king of Sodom. Why the different attitude, brother? You can't just read over this and be like, well, I think. And for the record, if you do the historical research, there were people from the lineage of Shem in the land of Canaan prior to the Canaanites taking over it. Look into that. So there were Shemites there too. So let's keep reading. Verse 24, save only that which the young men have eaten, and a portion of the men which went with me, Abner, Eshcol, and Mary, let them take their portion. In other words, only thing I'm going to take to you is what my people ate. You follow what I'm saying? So you can see the difference in how Abraham is addressing and dealing with these two kings, the king of Salem, Melchizedek, and the king of Sodom. He don't want nothing from one of them, and the other one, he's accepting the blessing and even repeating it almost. So, brother, Melchizedek was a priest of the Most High God, and if you do research on that, you will not find anything in Jewish tradition, history, where they make Melchizedek other than somebody righteous. That's why I read Philo. That's why I read the Dead Sea Scrolls. You can even go to Josephus. They all unanimously agree that Melchizedek was of God. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to let the caller respond, and I got to go to Kolayah after that, and we got to move on. You can respond briefly, 708. You can respond.
Okay, real quick. If you look at the name El, the Most High God in Hebrew, it's El Elyon. El Elyon is a Canaanite deity. So yes, Melchizedek gave prayer to his deity. And yes, Abraham did give him thanks for the bread and wine, so he gave him some of the spoils. Now, if you look at our history, you can't give the Most High sacrifice spoils, something that's stolen. That should be a huge red flag right there. And I'll let you go to the next caller.
Respond briefly, Josh, then I got to go to Kolayah.
Okay, if El Elyon is referring to a pagan god, then you got to explain all the times in the Tanakh where El Elyon is used to describe the God of Israel. For instance, in Numbers 24 and 16, Most High God, Hebrew 59:45, in the Strong Concordance, El Elyon, same word, Deuteronomy 32 and 8, El Elyon. See, this is how they get you with the conscious community with this whole Canaanite doctrine. 2 Samuel 24 and 14, the Lord thundered from heaven. Make sure y'all write this down. Most High, Elyon, same exact word. Go back to Genesis, same word, Elyon, Elyon. That's all throughout the Old Testament. So if you try to play that game, you just gave a dagger to your own heart. Because Elyon, for Most High, in fact, one more time, then you go to Kolayah, 52. Oh, now we in Psalm. Elyon, 57. I will cry to God, Most High. It's the God that performs all things for me. Elyon, bruh. You got to do your research before you come at me with these pseudo-arguments, bro. You can't just make Elyon be a Canaanite deity in Genesis and everywhere else in the book of the Old Testament, Nazareth, the Most High God. Stop it, bro. Kolayah, you got it.
All right, Kolayah, you can respond, and we got to get some other callers. Go ahead. You can respond. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Brother, I'm good to go, man. Brother, thank you for the call. Thank you for listening, brother. We're ready for the next caller.
All right. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. We have 36 minutes on the air, family. You have 36 minutes on the air, so you have enough time to call in, press number 1, and ask your questions. We have a lot of people lined up, though, so that's not a problem. We're going to go down the line and get some of your questions and your comments. I got to check my email, too. But let's go to 856-275 live.
Shalom, shalom, Brother Sal. This is Hazza in Jersey. Man,
hey, Hazza, what's going on, man?
You got to put the old intros in the description. The old intros was fire.
No doubt.
Okay. I got a question for my brother Kolayah. Is he on? Ready?
Yes, sir. Shalom.
Hey, brother Kolayah, shalom, man. Kudos to you for even stepping up in the lines in with brother Josh. Love and respect, brother. My question is, in Genesis, when Abel gave an offering to the Most High, it was accepted, and he was, like, I guess, considered the high priest at that time. And then I would say Job made an offering, and some people say Job was Edomite, so you could say Job was a high priest at that time. And then you got King David, tribe of Judah, wearing the linen ephod. He made a burnt offering to the Most High. And then you got in Exodus 19:6, it says, "And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." So the Most High desire is for the kingdom of Israel to all be priestesses. And I would say the first sacrifice recorded in Genesis was the Most High himself making an animal sacrifice to cover the nakedness of Adam and Eve. So you can even argue the Most High was a high priest, or the first high priest. So my question is, brother, is the Levitical priesthood supersede all these other priesthoods?
Brother, I'm not saying that the Levitical priesthood supersedes any priesthood, because the children of Israel at Mount Sinai were joined to the covenant at that point in time. The children of Israel are still, when the nation is restored, when you look in Ezekiel, they're making offerings through the sons of Zadok, who are the sons of Aaron. So the Creator never broke his covenant with the Levites. Now, in regards to people making offerings and sacrifices, that's not a problem if you're going to do that. But at that time, there was no temple in the days of Job. And even in the days when David was king, there was no temple. But once that temple was built and the Levites were able to operate, only the Levites had access to the temple. Let me read these. Let me read Numbers 18. And the Lord said unto Aaron, "Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of the priesthood, and thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness, and they shall keep the charge and the charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come nigh unto the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor ye also die." So the thing about it is, the sons of Aaron are in charge of the temple. What Job did and what David did, there was no temple. But now that we have a temple, at that point when Israel had a temple, not that we have one today, but when Israel had a temple, they were responsible to only offer sacrifices at that altar.
That's what you say. The last question, then I'll move on. So in Exodus 19:6, when Yah desires for the whole kingdom of Israel to be, he wants all of them to be a priest. So when the third temple is up, everybody in Israel is going to be a priest. If that's his desire in 19:6, would the Levitical priesthood be equivalent to everybody being a priest, or is the Levitical priesthood still higher than the children of Israel?
Let me. What, are you saying that the Levitical priesthood run everything and they just do everything? Or is that what you're saying? I'm trying to figure out where you're aiming.
Yeah, like Exodus, if you go from 5 to 6, when the Most High his says his desire is for the whole kingdom of Israel to be a priest in the holy nation. So the kingdom of Israel, they're not all Levites. You know, they got 11 more tribes to go. So are you saying are you saying the Levitical priesthood is higher than the other 11 tribes, or? Yeah.
No, I'm not. Listen, brother. Listen to what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Listen clearly. What I'm saying to you is that in Exodus 19:5, the nations are called to be a prince or to serve the Creator. The whole nation is called to do that. But without the law, the nation cannot be a priest. The nation cannot be a servant. They cannot be righteous. And once the Creator gave us the 10 Commandments and the law and the rest of the laws, we were responsible for that. That's what Israel is responsible for. But in regards to the priesthood, we had a place of worship. We had temple service. We had Kohanes also in the priests. I mean, we had Levites who were also, they were the tribe that was chosen to serve the Creator, but out of that tribe of Levi, you had the sons of Aaron, who were Kohen HaGadol. They were the high priests. They were the chief of that tribe. And so they ran things when it came to the sanctuary and also other civil matters that happened in the city. So they were the police, the judge, everything. But when we had a king, the king was responsible for rulership of the nation. He defended the nation. Everybody had their role. So it's not about who's better than this. It's just the fact that the Levitical priesthood, in regard to the altar and worship, cannot be superseded. It cannot be replaced. It is a law. Hebrews 7:14 says there's nothing in the law written about the tribe of Judah concerning priesthood, because there was never anybody that served at the altar of Yahweh. So, no, Levi is not better than anybody, but Levi has a definite role, just like Judah has a definite role.
All right, we're going to let Brother Josh respond. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I'm good. You can go to the next caller.
All right. Actually, Anonymous Hebrew, I know you wanted to ask a question. Go ahead, ask your question, brother. You there?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, first off, Shabbat Shalom to the family. I thought both brothers, it was a good debate. I thought it was a good debate. I just open up, I guess, with Brother Kolayah first. I want to understand, bro, and I try to be quick, but I got a little confused with your argument because if we're talking about the Melchizedek priesthood superseding, so I guess first, how much validity do you give to the order or the priesthood of Melchizedek? Like, what is your view on Melchizedek? Was he the priest of the Most High God?
Yes, I agree totally with Torah. I'm not saying that Melchizedek never existed. I'm not saying that. I never said that.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I just want to understand, right? So when we talk about superseding, what is your understanding of the concept of Melchizedek order superseding the Levitical priesthood? Like, do you feel like it does away with the Levitical priesthood then? Is that what you feel?
Well, what I feel about the Melchizedek priesthood is not. Well, here's what I'm saying in regard. Let me make my stance clear. There's a salt covenant with the sons of David to be kings and rulers. That's their portion from that house. There's also a salt covenant with the sons of Aaron and the tribe of Levi to serve in the temple. The letter of Hebrews gives the impression, and it makes the statement that the law has been changed and the priesthood has therefore been changed. And it specifically says that the parts of the New Testament. Hold on. It specifically says that the Christ of the New Testament is now the high priest. Hebrews 5 and 10 did the same thing when it all of a sudden says now, instead of saying priest like it did in Hebrews 5 and 6 and Hebrews 5:10, it says he's a high priest all of a sudden. So now you're adding to the word. Go ahead, Doug.
So, so it's not adding to the word because it's not saying anything different. So that's why I think the brother Kev, had called and asked you, do you understand this word transposed? And so and that's the reason I asked you the question about the Melchizedek order. So if Melchizedek is the priest or the priest of the Most High, right? You would also agree that during the time of a Levitical priesthood, when it's active, that they would also be enacting some type of priesthood for the Most High, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we see what's called what's called a transposition. So my concern is when you go to Hebrews and you keep saying that it's changed, you're inferring and altering when what the text is really saying is there's like a changing of the guard or a transfer, because you do agree that the Levitical priesthood is not active right now, correct?
Correct. Nor is the sons of David active right now either.
Right. So then, therefore, when Hebrews is saying that the Melchizedek order has now changed or transposed, that's not false, it's not wrong, it's not inaccurate, because we see the foundation laid for the Melchizedek order. So just a quick question, and then I'll just make a quick statement. My question is why are you against the Melchizedek order superseding or transposing or changing or being a part of the changing of the guard when you clearly see that Melchizedek is a priest of the Most High God? Right? We don't have a Levitical priesthood active, but we're seeing that the Melchizedek priesthood is now active. We see the foundation laid in the law. We see the foundation laid as well in the writings and Psalms. So why is it a problem? Why is it a problem for the Melchizedek order now to supersede?
Because the Christ of the New Testament never operated like that. Let me read Matthew 8 and 4. And Jesus said unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, shew thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. Let me read Luke 16 and 17. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail. The reason why I read that to you, because according to Hebrews 7 and 12, it says, for the priesthood being changed. There is made of a necessity. Okay, so, brother, I didn't cut you off. I listened to you very patiently. Brother, you're being very disrespectful right now. I listened to you patiently.
Bro, I'm not being disrespectful, bro. I'm just trying to dialogue with you. Relax, bro. You guys stop being insensitive, bro. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Let him respond. Let him respond. Go ahead, Kolayah.
Go ahead, brother. I don't have nothing to say. Go ahead, brother. I want to hear out the matter.
Okay. All right. Look. See, and you won't acknowledge this, and this is where I think the brother asked it. I think Josh may even cover it, and I just brought it out. We're talking about transposing, not a change as in altering. And we keep saying that, but it's like it's not registering. So I'll just say this really quick. There were several times tonight where you were saying things, and Brother Josh came back and cleared it up and saying, I don't teach that, I don't teach that, I don't teach that. And he's also making it clear that the New Testament doesn't teach that. There were even a couple times where you didn't understand what the New Testament is teaching. And it becomes clear right now when you keep harping on when you're harping on Hebrews 7, talking about change, and you're inferring and altering, when what it's saying is a changing of the guard, like a handing over. And it's clear that you're saying
brother, let me hold on, Anonymous. Let me show you something. So you telling me in Hebrews 5 and 10 that I'm making an error when it says called of God and high priest? Hold on, brother. Let me talk. I'm just showing you the folly of this book because it's calling the Christ of the New Testament a high priest, and Israel knows what a high priest is. And they know.
Hold on.
No. You cannot show that even in the language where the priesthood that you see in Psalms 110 is ever called Kohen Haggadah. Now I know you read Hebrew, and I need you to show me that. Show me Gadol in that particular verse of Psalms 110 and 4. Show me where it calls him a high priest.
Anonymous, you can do that, but we got to move on right after. We got some more callers standing by. You can do that.
No, I mean, it's impossible to do that. He wants me to add to the word. I'm not going to add to the word. What it's telling you is, though, is that at that point, he is now the high priest of a priesthood order. So if you're telling me then that just because he's now called the high priest, that that's somehow a violation of the word, you would have to prove that. In other words, what I'm saying is you're telling me that the Melchizedek priesthood doesn't have a high priest? That's folly, right? You're saying that there's folly, but you can't prove it. Now, we're clearly showing that you don't understand what's being taught in the New Testament. Like if I show you a change, and that means transposition, not altering, and then you refuse to let go of that, now you're being purposefully against something, whereas we're clearly showing we're not under the attack of the Levitical priesthood. We're operating within the confines of what we see in the Tanakh. We're operating under the confines of what the Most High said. And then you're still saying, nope, I refuse to hear that because of preconceived notions of Caesar Borgia and Roman Catholicism. So I would just implore you to please really take the time to hear what many Messianics are really teaching about the New Testament and what the book is really saying, rather than just always be on attack. So, but it was a good debate. Shabbat shalom to the family. I hope you don't feel like I was disrespecting you. If I was, then I apologize, but I was just trying to save time because it's a really deep conversation. But good debate, folks. Shabbat shalom.
All right. We have 19 minutes in the air, family. We have 19 minutes on the air. We still got time. And, of course, for the EV, we might have to go in the overtime part of the show. Well, let's get some more of these callers out here. And I appreciate your patience, family. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. Now let's go to 720-352. You're live.
Shalom. All praise to the Most High God of Israel. Psalm 83 and 18. Shalom to the guests. Shalom, Sal. Kolayah, did your thing. I want to make a couple statements. This is Davon, and then I want to ask Kolayah a couple questions. Deuteronomy 21 and 5. I'm going here because Josh has said that the Melchizedek order will be teachers in the future, or something to that effect. He could correct me if I'm wrong. So in Deuteronomy 21 and 5 says, and the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for them the Lord thy God hath chosen to minister unto him and to bless in his name of the Lord. And by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. So even if Melchizedek is this order of Melchizedek was teachers in the future, just for argument's sake, the Levitical priests are the ones that will be the ultimate judges. So that right there shows that they do not supersede the Levites according to the Torah. 1 Samuel 2 and 35, and I will raise up me a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in my heart and in my mind, and I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever. So this right here shows there's not going to be one king that's a priest. There's going to be a priest that walks before the Messiah or the anointed, like we always see, like Kolayah brought up in Deuteronomy 17, 18 through 20, that the king has to basically get taught from the Levitical priests. So if the priest is going to walk before the Messiah and he's going to have a temple built for him, that right there shows that there's still going to be the two-tier Messiah system in the future. Even in Ezekiel 37 to 28, when it talks about David ruling in the future, or if you want to argue that anybody from the house of David ruling in the future, there's going to be a temple that's going to stand there, and we know it's going to be the Levites who are going to serve in that temple. It says nothing about the Melchizedek order. And Isaiah 32 and 21, behold, a king will reign in righteousness, and princes will rule with justice. We know David will have sons forever, according to 2 Samuel 22 and 51. And I know it's not really the topic tonight, but I know if most of the Christians on here are teaching that Jesus is this Melchizedek king, he's not going to have any seed to continue David's line, so he wouldn't even be from the house of David, because that would make the Most High a liar to David and his generations, according to Matthew 22 and 30. Now, my question to Kolayah is this. Did Melchizedek have disciples that he commanded to drink his blood and eat his flesh spiritually or physically?
Absolutely not.
So that means Jesus is not operating in the order or the style of Melchizedek if Melchizedek didn't do these things, correct?
Nope, he didn't.
So because in that word order, it means style or manner of, like the way you get down, you know what I'm saying? In the estate of.
Right.
So to apply Jesus to the order of Melchizedek or the style of Melchizedek, and Melchizedek didn't teach these types of things as a priest of God, that means he wouldn't even be operating in the same capacity. Okay. Did Melchizedek himself or his descendants have any appearances in the Tanakh dealing with Israel?
Is that for me, Kolayah, or are you asking the brother?
This is for you, Kolayah.
No, I've never seen him. I've never seen this Melchizedek priesthood operating over the Levitical priests. I've never seen him again. You never see any dealings with him when the temple is built, or when the Levites are actually working in the temple, whether it was in Shiloh or Jerusalem.
Okay, because I just wanted to clarify that, because if that's the case, then we would have some type of, correspondence in the Tanakh that, the Levites would be looking for somebody to overstep them and become the teachers and the leaders of Israel, since Josh is saying that they supersede or are of a higher order than them, and that they don't have nothing on record to say that their covenant will be broken and they got to step back and watch Melchizedek preach. Okay, my other question is, if Melchizedek is a higher priesthood and JC's blood went to the heavenly altar to sanctify the people, why is Paul getting purified in the temple under Levi in Acts 21 and 26 and Acts 24, 17 through 18? If he's the last sacrifice,
Paul knows he has.
says that they...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
It says in Hebrews 10 and 10, but that we will have been sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once and for all. So if you've been sanctified once and for all, why when Paul's before James, he didn't tell them this? When they told him, you need to go to the temple and show everybody you keeping the law and offer these sacrifices, which included the sin sacrifice, by the way, because they took a vow to Nazarene or the Nazarite. But if they've been sanctified through this order of Melchizedek forever, according to how Hebrews teaches it, why is Paul going to the temple to be purified if he's already been sanctified through JC?
Paul himself will be contradicting the very thing that his student wrote. Where did he get these teachings from?
Well, according to him, he got it from Jesus in Galatians 1 and 12, right? So,
right.
And my last statement is this, and then I know there's other callers. Kolayah, can you read Colossians 2 and 14?
Give me 1 second. Colossians 2 and 14. Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross.
And can you read Ephesians 2 and 15?
Okay. You said Ephesians 2 and 15?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Turn that as quick as I can. 2 and 15 reads, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace.
So we see two other verses besides the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 12, saying an annulling of the law. So when they try to get on here and say, no, that's not what it meant, we got the same person, Paul, And of course, to back up that claim about Hebrews 13:25, in the 1611 KJV and in the authorized KJV on Bible Gateway, it said it was written by Timothy. Just to clarify that. But so we got two other witnesses saying that the law had to be done away with. So if they want to play the game, it was changed, it was turned over. He said annul. He said blot it out, get rid of. That's what that means. So that's pretty much all I got. Thanks, Sal. Shalom to the guests. And Kolayah, you did an excellent job. Shalom.
But anyway, this is what I got to say to that. Number one, you notice that he's asking New Testament questions to the person that don't believe in the New Testament. He don't want to ask me those questions because he knows I can answer them. That's why he didn't ask me. But let me deal with some of the stuff that he said, because he's talking about the Melchizedek Priesthood, whatever. You know, Davon don't want this work. That's why he ain't asking me anything. This is what it says in Psalms 110 and verse 4, because he wants to know about the Melchizedek Priesthood and how it pertains to the future. It says, the Lord hath sworn and will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Now, whoever this is talking about, look what it says. The Lord at thy right hand, that's the same Lord sitting at the right hand of God, shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Verse 6, he shall judge among the heathen. Now, let's go to Jeremiah 23, because they like to read this. This is Jeremiah 23 and verse 5. And let's see if we can match some stuff up. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David, this is somebody coming out of the lineage of David, a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Davon can say whatever he wants to say about the Levites, but the king outranks the Levites. We know this. The king outranks them. The Levites are more of the moral guard, but a king is higher than a priest. We all know this. So why are we trying to act like ultimately Levi has the final say? No, the Messiah. This is messianic. The king. It said, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. They said, well, that ain't happened yet with Jesus, but the New Testament doesn't make that claim. Another thing he keeps saying over and over again, just what Kolayah keeps saying is, when did Jesus execute the Melchizedek priesthood while he walked the earth? See, that's how I know you don't understand something. And by the way, Davon called in and gave away your little source of your 1 Timothy. They keep saying Bible Gateway, 1611 edition. I'm not talking about no 1511 translation or some speculation. If you check the history of the New Testament, it tells you that nobody knows for sure the author of Hebrews. That's a known fact. It doesn't mention an author. So how you just going to throw an author on Hebrews when the book itself doesn't state anything? Timothy's book opened up, letting you know it's addressing Timothy. Paul wrote to Timothy, and Timothy is mentioned there. So y'all don't understand the New Testament, and y'all coming up with these straw man arguments, and you're looking stupid. You think you're slick, looking smart, but you're looking stupid. But this is what it says in Hebrews, just to deal with that. This is Hebrews 4, right? Verse 14 and 15. This is when Jesus operated in the order of Melchizedek, Kolayah. I hope you're listening and learning. This is when he did it. Seeing then that we have a high priest that is passed unto the heavens. When did Jesus pass into the heavens? Didn't happen during his ministry, Kolayah. Didn't happen during his ministry, Davon. It happened after he died, resurrected, and ascended. That's when the Melchizedek priesthood first went into effect. Then it says this: Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession. Verse 15. For we have not a high priest which can be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. This is the difference between the Melchizedek priesthood and the Aaron priesthood, because Aaron's descendants could get sick. They could die. The Melchizedek priesthood is a priesthood that operates from the heavens and will be on earth when Christ returns. That's why we pray, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. These guys are amateurs in the New Testament and look like they're even worse in the Tanakh. This is why Davon, out of frustration, because he can see that his boy getting beat Everybody can see it. He just said, shoot, Sal is down. I'm going to hijack the show. Even though he said before Sal went down, yo, this is my last question. He saw an opening, and he took it. You know, just like a rat coming out the hole when he sees you gone and cheese, he going to hurry up and get cheese, try to eat as much as he can until you come back. But he ain't directing anything at me. So that's all I wanted to say about it. I don't care who heard me when he was on the air when I said what I said. Yeah, I said it, and I said it again. So you move on to the next call.
Yeah, I apologize, audience. Technical difficulties, man. It's crazy. I'm doing a lot of editing tonight for the YouTubers. But let's go to the next caller. 504-485. You're alive.
Yeah, how you doing, Sal? How you doing, debaters? Can I be heard?
Yeah, you loud and clear. What's going on?
Yeah, I just want to say it was a good debate. I just want to make a quick response first. I say to the caller, I think 2 callers ago. I don't believe that Melchizedek is Shemite or Hamite, but there were Semites in the land of Canaan during the time of Abraham. That word Hebrew. You can go to the Armana letters. There was a time he was a Hebrew. But,
correct.
To the brother Kolayah. And I do want to say you actually lost the debate because you gave up your position. You said you're not saying the Levitical priesthood supersedes anything. So you basically kind of gave up your position as far as the debate goes. But you know, I do believe the order does supersede the Levitical order, and I do believe that Yeshua is the priest of the Melchizedek order. And when Yeshua was, you know, preaching the kingdom of the Most High, he said that, you know, he's come to set father against son and mother against daughter. He said that as a high priest. Do you believe Yeshua is the Savior? I don't think you do, right?
Absolutely not.
How do you feel about when he said that, what I just repeated to you, as far as
I feel like
he's come?
How do I feel about the statement?
Yeah, when Yeshua when he come to set father against son and mother against daughter, how do you feel about when he said that? Do you feel that was
that would be against
do you feel that was in line with Torah?
To set daughter at variance with a mother-in-law and father against son.
Matthew 10, right? Correct.
Well, why would he be doing that? Because he's supposed to be the king of peace, but in that same text, I believe he says he's not the king of peace.
Okay.
So if he came to cause all this confusion, and division, that's not a king of righteousness.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. And this is the thing, man. And it's a lot of brothers. Okay. See, first, this is the thing. What you got to understand is that he was actually echoing Exodus 27. And what you need to, like, when you study the Old Testament, what you realize is that the whole nation of Israel, like the brother a few calls ago was saying, the whole nation of Israel to the order of Melchizedek, the whole nation. And you don't see until Exodus 27, when we commit the sin, worshiping the golden calf, that the Levites, when Moses said they did not regard their father or their son or their brother, when they did what Yeshua commanded us to do, that's when the Most High gave them the priesthood. So you got to understand that the Levitical priesthood really wasn't even intended for the nation of Israel. So I just wanted to know what you think about that. And like I said, good debate, and Shabbat Shalom.
I'm going to respond.
Before you get off the phone. Before you get off the phone, brother.
Yeah, you already got off.
Go ahead,
you can respond. Now, you already got off, but you can respond.
Go ahead, brother.
Now, you already got off.
Well, in response to the dear brother, Gideon, there's nowhere in the Exodus where it says that we are supposed to be after the order of Melchizedek. The Creator said that Israel ought to be priests and kings and a peculiar nation unto them. It doesn't mention anything about the order of Melchizedek. That covenant went to David. Psalms 110 starts off with a lament, 2 or 4. He's after the manner or style of a king who rules in righteousness. He rules with the law. But there is nothing in Scripture that says that the children of Israel are after the order of Melchizedek.
All right, let's let Brother Josh, you can respond. And we got to get some of these callers. I apologize, callers. We're going to get to you guys. Yeah, Josh, you can respond.
I ain't really got much to say other than the fact that, Kolayah just keeps going in circles when people show him, like obvious things in the script. I mean, it's obvious that Melchizedek priesthood was here first. It started with Melchizedek. It's going to end with Melchizedek. That's really the bottom line. He was here before Aaron. He's going to be here after Aaron, So that's all I really got to say to that. I'll deal with that a little bit more later.
All right. So what we're going to do, family, I mean, like I said, I have a lot of technical difficulties. I'm going to have to go to y'all, but y'all going to have to make it kind of quick. I want to get to a lot of people, Due to the technical difficulties, we missed a lot of opportunities to hear from a lot of the people. So, again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down the line and just make your questions quick. Don't be long-winded. All right, so let's go to the next person. Let's go to 813-240. You're live. (813-240). Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Peace, everybody. How everybody doing? All praise to the one true Creator. Good debate. Haven't heard Josh in the Lion's Den debating in a long time. Very interesting on some of the things both parties said. I just want to address something. It says, the Lord said unto my Lord. We see there's a lamet there in Psalms 110, which would read, La Dawit Mizmor, a Psalm 2 or 4. That's what a lamet denotes, 2 or 4. Now, I'm not here to argue about that, but it says a psalm for David. And the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand. So we know somebody is writing this for David. But we have to look at the right hand and see what it means, because Psalm 17:7, this is what it reads. It says, show thy marvelous works and your love kindness, O that savest me by thy right hand, them which put their trust in you from those that rise up against them. Also, again, I want to go to Psalms 18:35, because this word right hand is all throughout the scriptures. It says, thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation. This is David. And thy right hand have held me up, and your gentleness has made me great. So we do see when it says sit at thy right hand, that is a position of salvation. So albeit it be literal, albeit it is literal, it's also figurative, because no one literally sits at the right hand of the Creator. The Creator sits alone. And that's no matter what faith you want to agree with. I don't want to hold up too much time, but I do want to ask Josh, let me ask just quick, what is the bloodline of Melchizedek, the high priest of Canaan?
Well, that's the whole point about the Melchizedek priesthood, that it makes the mystery of it. That's why it's considered an eternal priesthood, metaphorically speaking, because there's no record of the genealogy that started it or a genealogy that continued it. That's the whole point. That's what the author of Hebrews is trying to express, and also that's the parallel he's drawing between Melchizedek and Levi. Levi was all about genealogy. Melchizedek isn't. And also to address what you just said about the right hand, everything you said was correct, except in the context of right hand that you're referring to, sometimes it means protector. All the ones you went to meant protector. But the one I went to meant position of honor. And in Psalm 110, that's talking about a position of honor. Because he said, sit down at my right hand, like sit down. So you have position of honor, and you got position of protection, and you got position of both. That's why earlier in the book of Psalms, David said, the Lord is at my right hand. He said, he is at my right hand. In that context right there,
one more time. Excuse me, Josh. Sorry, brother. I hate to say this, and me and you have a competitive nature. But Psalms 110 was not written by David, because the lamet denotes, one more time,
I'm not getting into that.
2.
I'm not getting into that, though, Chris.
Hold on,
I'm not getting into that.
I'm not, but hold on. But you keep using Psalms 110
you're not gonna hijack
to say that the one David wrote.
You're not going to hijack the debate and try to change the topic. What you want to do is have a blast from the past and turn this to who is sitting at the right hand of God. We already been there. We already done that. The title of this, and I said this several times tonight, and I'm pretty sure you were listening, I said, I am not here to debate on the identity of the person sitting at the right hand of God. All I'm saying is, whoever you believe it to be, that is a high position of honor, and that same individual is after the order of Melchizedek, and he will strike through kings one day and rule the entire planet. That's what it means when it says judge the heathen. That means judge the nations. That's what it always says about the Messiah. You can believe it's David. You can believe it's somebody coming out of David. I'm not here to get into that. That's why you're trying to get into the man. You're trying to turn it into all of that. I'm not going to let you do that, Chris. That's a smoke screen. I'm not here to debate you on that identity. Now, if you got a question for me, question me about what it means to be after the order of Melchizedek. Question me about Melchizedek himself. I'm not here to argue that. That's what I'm saying. You can talk about it if you want to, but you will get no response out of me.
Yeah, actually, we got to get some more of these calls, man. We got a lot of calls to get to, but Kolayah, please, you can respond. Got to get to some of these callers.
I'm good, my brother. Unless Chris got
all right.
else, I'll respond.
All right. Let's get to some more of these callers. Let's go to 813-900. 813-900. Okay. Oh, my man snoring. All right. Let's go to 706-505. You live.
Yo, shalom, Sal. Yo, shalom, Josh and Kolayah. I wanted to say something real quick because I know you're pressed for time. So I think the brother Kolayah, you need to go deeper into Hebrew culture and understanding. Now, you're bringing up heaven and earth. That's an idiom. He's talking about the temple. What Jesus was talking about goes right along with Daniel 9 when he said, "Until heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or tittle shall be changed." So I'm paraphrasing because for time. What's that talking about? That's talking about the temple instructions, right? Now, if you go to Daniel chapter 9, it says that the temple will be destroyed and there will be an end of sacrifice and offerings. Now, when you look at that word end, that word there is Shabbat, which means to cease. So it's not saying that it's an eternal end. It's saying for a moment that there will be a ceasing. So if there's no temple there, then there's no temple law right now because there's no temple. So when you go into Hebrews, because you brought up Hebrews also talking about the annulling of the law or something like that, or annulling of the priesthood, that word there, annulling, has several meanings. It doesn't just mean completely at an end. It also means to set aside or to be put on hold for a second. So there are things that are still on hold because we see in the scriptures where it says that the Levitical priesthood, there would never cease a person to sit on there. So once the kingdom be back established through the Mashiach, Yahushua, or Jesus, when he's established that, then the Levites will be doing their things, just like Brother Josh said. So I hope I could build with you one day. I know we were spoken one time, but Anonymous could probably set some up to where we can kind of build, man, because y'all have a misunderstanding. And what that false prophet, that gasoline draw rare, Davon Mays, he doesn't know what he's talking about, because in Ephesians 2, he's talking against the Talmud. There's nowhere in the Torah where Yahuwah separated people who wanted to come into the covenant with Israel. He never separated that. And him far as bringing up Colossians, that's talking about those man-made rules that the Pharisees came up with that the Mashiach set aside and put down. So I yield. I know you got other people coming. We'll get to it.
All right, Kolayah, you can respond. Go ahead, Kolayah.
Well, that word in Hebrews 7 and 18, disannul, says it's a cancellation or to put away. And Hebrews 7 clearly says that there's a change in the priesthood, therefore there's a necessity of the change of the law. So like I've been asking, show us where the law states that there's a change in the priesthood in regards to the atonement of Israel, because that's what the high priest did. He performed the atonement or the Kippur offering on the Day of Atonement. And they're stating that Christ is a high priest throughout Hebrews chapter 5 through 10. So what they done is change the law. You guys are talking about a heavenly tabernacle. When was the high priest ever commanded to go up in heaven? Show us where the Melchizedek priesthood was commanded to give sacrifice and offering. Thank you.
All right, Josh, you can respond.
Yeah, I'm just of the mindset that, no matter what you show Kolayah, it's like he's not listening. I mean, people don't went through this change in the Greek, the word disannul, the different definition, and it's like he's deaf. This ain't no disrespect to the brother, but it's like you're sitting here telling him stuff, and you're telling him that We're not saying that you're absolutely wrong. We're just telling you it can mean other things. And it's like he just completely shuts off his brain and be like I said, change. This is not how you really dialogue. You follow what I'm saying? And then you got other people who want to call in and try to hijack the show and take it in a completely different direction. See, this is how I operate. Y'all know this. I stayed on point. I stay on topic. I address the issue. But every time you turn around, one of them want to call in and try to, tap dance and run circles around the debate topic you on because they know they can't do it to me. You follow what I'm saying? They run. Yeah, I'm saying your name. He called in. He hijacked the show. Chris called in. He want to change the whole topic back to something me and him discussed, 2-3 years ago? They're always trying to get off topic and talk about all other things but the topic at hand. The bottom line is Melchizedek was a high priest. He was before Aaron. He's going to be after Aaron. He was over Abraham, and Abraham, before the Messiah came, was considered the father of everything. He was the most celebrated patriarch of all. Everybody know that. And Melchizedek was superior to him because he tied to Melchizedek, and he allowed Melchizedek to bless him. It started with Melchizedek. It's going to end with the priesthood of Melchizedek. Please move on, Sal.
All right, we got to get some more of these callers. We're in the overtime part of the show, so you got to do is simply press number 1. Let's go to the next person. Let's go to 443-619. You're live. 443-619. You are live. Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me? How you guys doing?
Yeah, loud and clear. What's up?
What's up? Shalom, Sal. Shalom, Bro.Josh. And the other brother, I can't say his name. I forget his name.
Kolayah.
Kolayah, that's it. Let me ask a question to Kolayah. In Jeremiah 31:31, was the covenant changed?
No, sir. The covenant is renewed.
Renewed. Where's the renew? Because I look it up in Hebrew, it actually says new. It doesn't say renew. It says fresh, new, a new thing. That's the word in Hebrew, not new, renewed. So where's the renew come from? Where you guys getting this renew from?
Because I'm reading it. Well, let me give you an example out of the same chapter. Verse 35.
Start from that verse.
Okay, let me start from that verse. In fact, can I go to verse 29? In those days.
You can go to verse 29.
Thank you. The fathers have eaten. In those days they shall no more say, the fathers have eaten the sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. The days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, with my covenant they break. Stop cutting me off. Although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. But this is the covenant that I will make with them, with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. So don't just try to isolate one verse to try to make it say.
No. What? I'm not trying to make it say. I'm not trying to make it say.
One at a time.
Okay, my bad.
I see what you're trying to do. But the fact of the matter is, the Creator, wait a minute, the Creator is saying that he's writing the law on their hearts. Remember, he wrote it on stone at first.
Right.
But now the law is being written on their hearts. Now they join back into the covenant again because now he's married to them again. Go ahead.
Okay. Now that's your interpretation of it. Because, again, you have not proven renewed. All you've proven is he's going to be writing laws on their heart. It never said he was going to be writing the same laws into their heart. He's going to write the law in their heart. Now, when you go into the New Testament, it clearly shows, like the brother was pulling out, he was pulling out the scripture, it clearly shows that the ordinances of the law have been removed. That's what it's talking about in the book of Hebrews. The ordinances. It didn't say the law in total. It said the ordinances in. It's the ordinances. It says. It literally says it. Ordinances. It tells you. So I'm like, if it tells you it's talking about the ordinances specifically, okay, then that means that is that change of the law that you guys are confused about. The change of the law is the ordinances. That's what's been pulled out. So what are the ordinances?
You asking me what are the ordinances? The
What are the
ordinances is that word law there is Torah. You don't change the commandments. Nobody has the authority to change what the Creator has spoken. That is an eternal covenant. And the Creator in that same chapter, he uses the sun and the moon as witnesses. When you see the new moon, is it a brand new moon or the same moon going through its phases?
Yeah, I apologize. We gotta let Josh respond. Do the time. Josh, you can respond. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm good. You can go on to the next caller.
All right, we got to go to the next caller. Let's go to 478-213. You're live.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. I'm trying to be quick as I possibly can to answer one. I'm surprisingly enjoying this topic because I didn't even think it was that controversial coming into it, but I definitely have some questions. So my question first is to Kolayah. Kolayah, can you please quickly explain your understanding before I go further, like explain your understanding on the order of Melchizedek. Can you explain that? The order of Melchizedek.
My understanding of the order of Melchizedek is that the manner of the king will be righteous or stock. He will rule with a righteous government.
Okay. Josh, can you quickly explain to me your understanding on the order of Melchizedek?
Of course. It means exactly what it says. Melchizedek was an individual. So I don't know why we want to make him be or make his name be the focus of what the psalmist is trying to say. What it means is, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, the individual, meaning whoever the psalmist is addressing would operate in a similar way or fashion to Melchizedek, which means he would be a king and a priest simultaneously, just like the original Melchizedek was.
Right. So you're saying that the Melchizedek was king and priest, which of course we know that we've never seen before in the history of Israel. Kolayah, have you ever seen any examples of someone being a king and a priest and a high priest of the Most High God? Now, I'm not talking about any other god, any pagan worship or any other type of worship. I'm talking about when it comes to the Most High God of Israel, because we could see that the Most High God, and you admitted to this earlier, that Melchizedek was a priest to him, and he was a king. I'm pretty sure you believed, you said that as well. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But we know that he was a king and a priest to the Most High God of Israel. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, Kolayah, you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, but I was on mute. I'm sorry. So, ask your question. Cut it down a little bit, man, because you said a whole lot right there, brother.
No, all I'm asking is that do you believe that Melchizedek was a king and a priest of the Most High God of Israel? That's all I was asking.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the language.
Yes.
That's what the language says.
Okay. So
hold on.
Okay.
Let me.
So if.
Okay,
go ahead. I mean, you said yes. So okay, go ahead, brother. I'll let you go ahead. No, let him go.
Yeah, Kolayah, you got the
y'all
floor.
need to stop with that, man. Listen, Melchizedek still means king of righteousness, and yes, he was a priest, but that word priest don't make him a high priest. The word for high priest, according to hold on.
Let me finish. Yeah.
But he said this like 5 times. I get it. He said it 5 times tonight.
The word for high priest is Kohen Gadol.
I get it. You don't have to explain yourself again, brother. Trust me. I get what you're saying. We can play semantics on names. No, listen. No, that's not what I asked you. We can play semantics on names. Every Hebrew name we can go from the beginning of Genesis all the way up to Malachi, and break down every person's name and split it into something. Or it might be Lion of, like, if I say Ariel, that means Lion of Yah. We break it down. So this person must be, we talking about a lion a lot. Bro, we can't play semantics on names. We're talking about an individual person. That's what I'm talking about. We want to break down, you want to break down Elijah, you want to break down Ezekiel, you want to break down every other name in the Bible. We can do that if you want to do. I know, because you're picking and choosing. My question is to you, but you are, because you're only doing this right now with Melchizedek. We know this is talking about an individual. But my point is to you, if you're saying that Melchizedek was a king and priest, let's just throw everything else out the window. Because if we're saying that if he was a king and a priest, then let's go to, if the author of Hebrews is saying that Christ, Jesus Christ, is a priest, and they believe, and the people that believe, the authors of Hebrews, that they believe that Jesus Christ is a priest after that order, meaning he's the priest and he's a priest and a king. Then what's the problem if that's what they believe? What's the problem with that? At all, because because nobody's saying, and I want to clarify one last thing before I let you go, that nobody is saying, and I think the brothers they've been trying to explain to you is that nobody is saying that it's done away, because we don't believe that the Levitical priesthood is done away with. We do not believe that at all. We do not believe. We believe the. All right. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Time is going. Yeah, time is going.
The letter of Hebrews, chapter 5, verse 10, live. It called the order. It says that he's called as high priest after the order of Melchizedek. You can't show me in the language. Hold on. Where the order of Melchizedek were called Kohen Gadol. It's not there. So that means that the letter of Hebrews has completely deceived you. Go ahead. Let Josh respond.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Josh. I'm done.
First of all,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, just because it says priest, and I don't know why Kolayah acting like he got amnesia, because we dealt with this in the conference call before the show. And I told him, I said, dude, don't cut me off. Now you come out cutting people off, now you doing it. As I was saying, I told him in the conference call.
One at a time.
I told him in the conference call, Sal, do your job, man. Do your job, man. Like I was saying. Like I was saying. I'm not disrespecting you. You know? Thank you. I said in the conference call when we dealt with this, there are times when the Levitical priest, even when you're dealing with the high priest, or sometimes it's referred to as a priest. A priest can still be a high priest. What he's trying to do is he's trying to be super technical and playing semantics and say, just because it said priest and it calls Jesus a high priest, then that means it lied. But the book of Psalms never said that Melchizedek is not a high priest. See, what you're doing is known as reading a contradiction into something. Show me where it said he wasn't a high priest. Then you got an argument. If it calls him a priest now and a high priest later, there's no contradiction. It's just giving you more detail or the understanding of the person looking at it. If he was the only priest, then he's automatically the high priest. Just like the Most High, y'all say all the time, he's the Most High. But you don't seem to have a problem with that, seem to imply that there are other gods. But if I ask Kolayah right now, are there other gods? He'll say no. So how can God be called the Most High God if there are no other gods, right? But when I go to the with Melchizedek and it says priest, then it turns around and say high priest, indicating that means he's the high priest because he's the only one in that priest order. He won't know it got to mean this. Stop it with the games, dude. Even in Philo, he called Melchizedek a high priest. That was the understanding that the ancient Hebrews had of what kind of priest he was. That's why it pops up in Philo 92. Philo wasn't added to the scriptures. That's what the Hebrews understood. He was the only priest, so that made him by default the high priest. If you're the only one in the race and you cross the finish line, you got first place. You're the highest. You rank the highest. I don't understand why simple, logical concepts like this just go over this brother's head. Ain't nobody going to keep going around in circles with you about elementary stuff that a 5-year-old can pick up on. Most can also mean only. High priest, highest, can also mean only because he's the only one in it. So can we please stop playing these childish games and move on to the next caller, please? Thank you.
Yeah, we only got like 2 more callers standing by, and after that, we're going to get to the final statement part of the show. I appreciate all the people that stood by through the technical difficulties. We're going to work on that. But let's go to 510-435. You're live.
Hey, shalom, everybody. Josh, brother Kolayah, and to you also, Sal. How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
All right. Okay, I just wanted to expound because I think my point was going to be what Anonymous said about how the Levitical priesthood is not in effect right now because there is no temple and everybody's scattered. Don't nobody know who anybody is. I just want to comment also to say that or ask a question, Kolayah. Do you think that Brother Moses was a priest under the Levitical of the Melchizedek order? Priest king?
I mean, what do you mean? What's your angle? Because he was never. Moses gave the law.
Right. But did he do the sacrifices too?
The Levitical priesthood, Aaron took care of the sacrifices in the temple. And Moses was called a king.
Okay. So you don't think that they were the priesthood? I mean the in that order?
No, sir. They were the high priests from the sons of Aaron. When it came to the altar of the Creator, when they had the tabernacle in the wilderness and the law was given, it was a salt covenant with Aaron and his sons for a perpetual statute. It also says in another place throughout all generations. So there is no Melchizedek priesthood making offerings on the altar of the Creator in the tabernacle. What happened? Look what happened with the light of our incense. He was from the line of.
You just broke up.
Right. I said, look what happened.
Yeah, you broke up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Let me make it brief. The tribe of the sons of Aaron were the high priests. They were Kohen Haggadah. There was no Melchizedek priesthood in the tabernacle or in the temple making offerings. An example of that, when it went wrong for the kings of Judah, was Uzziah when he tried to burn incense, and it says it was not for him to do, but for the Levites. So you can't put the Melchizedek priesthood in regard to temple service over the Levites.
Okay, so when there's no priesthood, then when there's no Levitical priesthood in order, then who's the one in charge to do all the the sacrifices? Because in the New Testament it says that Christ was the order in the heavens, being the mediator, and he takes the as the prayers come up and everything like that. So what my question is, when there is no Levitical priesthood, then what priesthood is in order then? Because Isaiah 1 says that all the that God was going to take all the responsibility from them because they was abusing the power. Mm-hmm. Also in Ezekiel too.
Mm-hmm. But it also says in Hosea 4, that we would be without a king, without a priest, and without a sacrifice. So Israel, because here's the thing, without the priest and without the king, there's no nation. There is no nation. That's the symbol. That's the sign to show that Israel is back in charge. So you don't have a king either. So I don't know why you're trying to just focus on the Levites. There's no king to rule, and none of the high priests ever went into heaven and did anything. Nobody from Judah, according to Hebrews 7:14, there's nothing written in the law concerning Judah in the priesthood.
All right, I got to let Josh respond quickly. We got one more caller. Go ahead, Josh, you can respond.
I'm good, Cal. Next caller, please.
All right, you go. All right, this is the last one. Let's go to 856-275. You're live.
All right, two quick questions. This is Hazard again. Brother Kolayah, is a king higher than a priest?
Is a king higher than a priest? A king is a priest.
Is the king more powerful than a priest?
In regards to what?
Just in general, is the position of a king higher than the position of a priest?
Brother, here's the thing in Israel. The kings were from Judah. They did their role. The Levites from Levi did their role. They both had specific rules. They go hand in hand.
Okay, and if Melchizedek order is a king and a priest, doesn't the debate of does the Melchizedek order supersede the Levitical priesthood if you got two in one, a king and a priest? Wouldn't that supersede just a priest?
Well, where can you show me where a king made a sacrifice at the altar? You can't even show me that in Ezekiel. Actually, in Ezekiel, the prince that's from Judah is still bringing offerings to the sons of Zadok. And we all say Ezekiel's temple, future temple.
Yeah, we're not going to have no time to let the brother respond. But, Brother Josh, do you want to respond to this? And now we go straight to the final statements.
Yeah, I want to respond to this because this is just a classic example of Kolayah running from simple elementary school questions. You follow what I'm saying? Like, you can ask a 5-year-old who has the most rank, a king or a priest, and I'm pretty sure the 5-year-old will tell you that. This brother don't play chess before. He know good and well that a king has higher rank than a priest. He knows the answers to these questions, but he purposely and deliberately try to read too much into them and run around them. It's a simple question. Ask me the same question, caller. Is a king higher than a priest? Yeah, duh. Don't even insult my intelligence with a simple question like that. We all know that. You follow what I'm saying? We know they all did their things. Kolayah's right about that. They had their functions. They had their jobs. But the brother asked you who ranks the most. So I guess if the brother calls in again and be like, is the president higher than the mayor? Will Kolayah be like, well, you know, they both got their duties? No, he's going to be like, the president is higher than the mayor. But when it comes to stuff in the book, he knows that a king is higher than a priest. And he knows by just, common sense, if you got both in the same individual, that's a double portion of rank because a priest is up there. We know that. A priest is up there, as he pointed out himself. Good job on that, by the way, Kolayah, pointing that out. I see, I don't hate when I see you point out some good stuff. But the brother knows that if you're a king and a priest in one, then you outrank anybody who's just one or the other. So let's stop again playing games and acting like we don't understand simple questions like, is a king higher than the priest? You can go ahead and close this thing up, Sal, because I know you said you ain't got no more callers.
Yeah, straight to the final statements. And again, I appreciate everybody that stood by, and like I said, I do some serious editing for the YouTubers, But let's get this final statement thing going. It's going to be 7 minutes each. Let me set up this timer. We're going to go to Kolayah. Go ahead, 7 minutes. Final statements.
I want to say shalom and peace to you, Sal. Sal, thank you. Thank you for putting us on the platform and letting us have this opportunity to discuss this matter. I want to say peace and shalom to the listeners tonight for tuning in. It was a good debate, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I want to say peace and shalom to Josh for letting me discuss this matter with him and try to come to some reasoning. And I just want to make it clear that the sons of Levi, the Levites, have an eternal covenant, according to Jeremiah chapter 33, 15 through 21, as does the kings, the sons of David, have an eternal covenant with the Creator. And in regards to the king outranking the priest, I'm going to read again Deuteronomy chapter 17, verses 18 through 20. For all those who say it's common sense and don't disrespect me with a question like that, let me read this so you can learn and understand from the law. And it shall be when he sits upon the throne of his kingdom that he shall write a copy of this law in a book of that which is before the priests, which would have been the high priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the law, the Lord his God, to keep all the statutes of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel forever. So no, We're not talking about rank and file. We're talking about particular roles of particular tribes. And tonight I wanted to just make it known and clear that the Levites' priesthood is not superseded. It is not replaced. It cannot be replaced. And the letter of Hebrews is the letters of condemnation because it added to the law and it changed what Psalms 110:4 says when it just calls the sons of David the kings of righteousness, injects the word high priest. So nobody from Judah, according to Hebrews 7:14, can ever do anything in concerns to priesthood, especially atonement for the nation of Israel. It has to be a Kohen Gadol from the sons of Aaron that make that atonement. And we don't have a sacrifice today. But guess what? The Creator says, take with you words in Hosea 14. So tonight, I just want to make it known that our dear brother Josh has not shown us where the Christ of the New Testament is a high priest according to the law. And once again, I want to say thank you for all those who listen in. Shalom, shalom.
All right. I appreciate you for coming on the platform. Like I said, you can reach out to any of the special guests right in the description box. Just go to the description box and check out the Facebook pages, YouTube, emails, all that content. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to the special guests. Let's go to Brother Josh with his final statements. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Sal. And I just want to say something to Kolayah, because I know I came at him pretty tough. You probably think I don't like him. But let me just put this out here for everybody that's listening. Say what you want to about Kolayah, step. When I called him out in the comment section and said, let's turn this into a debate, he didn't make up any excuses. He didn't backpedal. He didn't go behind my back and go to Sal and try to reason with me behind the scenes, like debate behind the scenes because he didn't want to be public. So whatever you think about this brother tonight as far as how he did or how good he did or how bad he did or whatever, one thing I got to give him credit for is when I approached him in the comment section, the brother stepped up. He's not a coward. So y'all can't put that on him. So I got to give him props for that. Dude stepped up. I've been asking people to step up in the comment section for months. They post under my video, post under another video, step into the ring. He the first one and only one that done it. So I got to give my man props for that. And I hope we can still be peaceful after this. But just got to say, getting into the closing statement, you didn't really address anything. You ran to other translations when it was convenient. You didn't seem to understand or want to address the concept of a proper name versus the definition of a name. And Torn called in and tried to explain to you that any name in the Bible can be broken down to its definition. All the Hebrew names meant something. I did a whole class on that. That would be like me reading the book of Joshua. And every time I get to Joshua, I say it's not talking about an individual. It's talking about somebody who's trying to bring the salvation of Yah. There's not any Joshua you can listen to. No. He was an individual. Yes, there's symbolism in his name. Nobody's taking away from that. Yes, he was supposed to be a priest after the order of Melchizedek because he's under his priesthood, but he's also supposed to be a righteous king. Nobody's arguing with that. That's the very thing it says in the book of Hebrews. That's what we understand. You cannot go to Psalms 110 and read after the order of Melchizedek and remove the identification of an individual and just focus on what his name means and then reinterpret it for it to say you are a righteous king. The best you can make it say is you are a righteous king just like Melchizedek, or you are a righteous king under the order of Melchizedek. But you can't translate the individual out of the text. This is why he used the JPS. This is why nobody else on the Tanakh only side who called in and supported Kolayah will touch Psalms 110 and 4 because they know it is saying it's speaking to an individual who would be after the order of Melchizedek. This is why when Chris called in, he wanted to deal with who the individual was and not if it's actually saying this individual will be modeled after Melchizedek because he sees it. Davon sees it. They don't want to deal with that. Then you got other people call in. They want to deal with, these are priests of the Most High God at all. If you notice, there has been nothing but conspiracies and attempts to eliminate Melchizedek either as an individual in Psalms 110 or as a priest of the Most High God in Genesis 14. This is what they do. They don't want to take the text as it is written. He was a king, and he was a priest, and he was superior to Abraham. That's why Abraham paid tithes to him. That's why Abraham allowed him to bless him. That's why Abraham was friendly with the king of Salem, Melchizedek, and was disrespecting the king of Sodom. They didn't serve the same God, him and the king of Sodom. But Melchizedek and Abraham served the same God. That's why he gave him 10%. He tied it to him. You tied to a priest. When you give 10% to that priest, that 10% represents that you believe in the God that he is promoting. I can't believe some idiot called in and tried to make y'all think that Abraham was tied to a priest of a pagan God. When you tied, that's a form of support. That means you endorse this God. Ask Kolayah if he would tithe or even give money to an organization he don't believe in. Ask Kolayah, do he send in donations to the Christian church? He's going to say no. But I'm pretty sure he don't send in donations or some kind of support to a Tanakh only camp, and that makes sense. So when it comes to Melchizedek, these brothers saying Abraham tied to him, but trying to say Abraham wasn't down with his God. You tied to the priest because you want them to continue their priestly duties. So stop acting stupid, sisters and brothers. The man tied it to Melchizedek because he knew that man was some kind of mediator between the Most High God and himself, Abraham. It started with Melchizedek. Psalms 110 is messianic. That's why we went to Philo. That's why when we went to the Dead Sea Scrolls, all of our Hebrew forefathers got something messianic out of Melchizedek or related something messianic to Melchizedek because they could see it. What these guys are giving you now is some new age crap based off of modern day interpretations that has nothing to do with the historical content or views of the people who wrote this Bible. That's why every time I take them to history, they brush it off. But the bottom line is Aaron's priesthood was in effect when Psalms 110 was written, meaning God told somebody who had a position of honor at his right hand that you have another priesthood separate from Aaron after the order of Melchizedek, and there's no getting around that fact. Meaning that's the proof right there that superseded Levi because Levi was already in effect. And this guy who got this priesthood is the right hand of God, which is the highest honor anybody can have. So, Kolayah, I appreciate you stepping up, but you probably should have stepped out. I appreciate everybody calling in. Thank y'all again. I'll be back in the line then soon. Shabbat shalom.